too.
I didn't open my sparkling cider.
Welcome to Talk of the Tavern. A little about us. We're your at-home interactive weekly geek con, all blended with wit, sarcasm, and a pub-like atmosphere. We're adults talking about adult topics and using adult language. We laugh and make jokes about almost everything. We don't intend to upset, but some folks have their feelings hurt easily. This is all done in humor in the style of the great offenders such as George Carlin, Red Fox, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, Wanda Sykes, Sam Kinison, George Lopez, Lisa Lampanelli, Chris Rock, and others. So grab your vice of choice, sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy yourself in the company of great people, hot toddies, and guests alike, because here we come.
Put that long day behind you. Good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile on your head. Come on in, the door's open. You'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk of the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk of the tavern. Promising beer and bed love. The talk of the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk of the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
Hi. Welcome to June 6th, 2018. Middle-Aged Geekery, and today we're going to be talking with our very special guest, Moeller, about Themensha.
Hi.
What's your vices today there, Morven?
An unopened bottle of sparkling apple and grape
Very
cider
good. Now, do you
that I can't open.
do you have a bottle opener anywhere?
No.
Don't open it with your teeth. I did that when I was younger. I've done it.
Don't do
No,
that.
I'm not going to do that. It would hurt my teeth.
Yeah, I chipped one.
And I don't have any more
Teeth.
dental insurance.
Oh, that too. You do have spare teeth, though, and we might talk about that later.
I do. They're in a jar. I have 2 sets.
Without the
I have a
ashes
set.
and Google eyes.
Ah,
We're looking to correct.
okay, we're talking about that set of teeth.
Sorry, you have another set besides that set?
Yeah, I have extras of my own.
Oh, who knew?
It's always good to have a spare part.
Exactly.
Mo has falsies.
No, they're all my real ones. It's just some of them are a little older than they're supposed to be.
Like
I have baby teeth
Jurassic
still.
era?
Yes.
Yeah,
What's a dinosaur?
You have baby teeth because you're still a baby.
Oh.
No, I have baby teeth because they had to cut out the adult ones.
No, Mo has baby teeth because they like to punch babies in the face and take their teeth.
Yeah, gotta get them trophies.
That's how we met. And then, of course, co-host and life co-host on the show, Andrea, Night Owl Creations. Delightful, flooding about over there.
I have coffee.
What kind of coffee is it?
I have water. It's I don't know, whatever we bought. Chocolate and vanilla mix. I don't know. And whatever's left, I'll dump into one thing.
Awesome.
Okay, and
Because tomorrow's grocery day.
tomorrow is grocery day. Yes, it is. Okay, and I'm Travis. I am also drinking a black coffee, and I have water. And I will probably be lighting up some cross-eyed cricket here in a little bit.
Or cricket.
I know, it didn't see me coming because I came from the left. Because it's cross-eyed.
Cricket noise. Cricket noise. Cricket noise.
I was tired of him at my comedy stuff. This is an Alde Villano. Aldo. It's hard to read. It's an Italian pipe with a nice silver band.
I love Aldi. It's the only place that has Cavallo rice.
Well, this is Aldo.
Whatever.
I think it's Villano.
Where's Aldo? Instead of where's Waldo?
It's in my
see
pants.
what you did
He's been
there.
hiding there.
Oh.
Red streaks on him.
Oh.
What? No. Okay, that's awkward.
Hey, has anybody else actually
Cricket
shown
noise,
up?
cricket noise.
We do have people.
I don't know where Twitch is. Hi, people. Did anybody
see
actually
Bob.
speak?
Hi, people.
I see bobs of green, fields of...
I can't see anybody, so
Because you're not on Twitch.
well, I am on Twitch, just not on Twitch right now.
No, there's a magical thing called a phone that you could pull up it on the Twitch app and read the chat if you wanted to.
My phone was dead. It's way over there charging.
Oh,
you're as bad as me. I never charge my phone.
Well, I needed to make sure I got up this morning so that I could get my corner ready for y'all.
You know, I will say this, by the way. Hey, Bob, Dez is not here. Here's your chance. He came in yesterday when you weren't here, dude, and threw like just 15 bits to get above your... Yeah. There you go. It's
Here.
It's like speaking Spanish. Heftes. There you go. Has Andrea creeped closer up to 410? It's you know what I forgot?
I am not in competition.
See, there you go.
Here you go, Bob.
Bob's numero
Go,
uno.
Bob!
Muy bien, mi amigo.
See.
See, what? C as in like C or C as in yes in Spanish? I don't know what you're
saying.
C as in cookie. It's good enough for me.
C is for cookie. Good enough for me.
There's no cookie. We have really disgusting cookies.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing, or not.
You're welcome. They look like little turds because they're like gluten-free. They're made mostly of coconut and chocolate, and when you pick one up, like the chocolate oil mix gets on your fingers, and it's kind of gross. I ate one yesterday. I will not eat anymore until my dad gets mad at me about leaving things in the house uneaten. I found green beans in our microwave this morning.
Like just growing
I ate
there?
them for lunch. No. No, we leave the growing vegetables on the shelf. In the pans and pots.
Now, is there... I'm curious here, because I'm sending out a... underneath the screen, if everybody looks, you'll see there's a share button. So I'm sharing while we're kind of warming up, chatting up, getting rolling here. Oh. And I'm putting a description. Join us live as we're discussing dementia and I was just going to put, you know, LGBT with Mo of Themensha, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly I'm wondering... Because I noticed when you're talking about Themensha, which we'll be talking about in detail very soon, you always put dementia and Alzheimer's. Are they very different things, or is Alzheimer's a type of dementia?
Alzheimer's is a type of dementia.
Okay.
But since a lot of people don't know that, they think they're different things, because not the average Joe is not as in the know as you are.
Yeah. It's, and correct me if you have better knowledge on this than me, but I always thought dementia is kind of the broad spectrum term, and then Alzheimer's is more of a specialty affliction situation.
Yep.
However anybody wants to dicker with it.
That is correct.
Okay. Sounds like I know a little bit about what I'm saying.
Definitely, no. Alzheimer's is 60 to 80% of all dementia. So it's one of those where all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares.
So what's, and I don't want to go into this too much because I don't want to draw us away from the actual topic, but what is the rest?
There are many different ones.
Is this the standard things that people are medicated for, you know, whether it's hallucinations, etc., chemical, bipolar?
No. Okay. Dementia is specifically ailments of the memory. Most happen later in life, but I mean, a lot of them actually come with other diseases, or other conditions or afflictions. So a lot of people know the Parkinson's disease.
Right.
Parkinson's disease has a dementia element to it. So, you know, the prion proteins are bending wrong, and so they aren't working correctly. There's a buildup of fluid. They're not functioning in the brain, and you start losing some of your memory connections your memory axons in your brain, and you start having memory issues. So that's a dementia, but it's linked to Parkinson's disease. And so dementia is that broad memory issues that have been biologically found. Because there are, like, every day I'm like, where did I put my whatever? You know, where did I put my phone last night?
Right.
That's not dementia. Dementia is...
You say it's
Thank
not.
you. No, it's not dementia, most probably. Because everyone has normal memory issues, but if it happens frequently, like if you're walking around your neighborhood and you forgot that you were walking around your neighborhood, or you forgot how to get home, that sort of thing, so you can't let your relatives with dementia go on walks on their own necessarily.
We've all had those moments. I did it just earlier last week or earlier this week. I don't remember. That's not dementia. But yeah, I'm driving along and suddenly I had been zoning out, I guess, and I didn't realize where I was. And it took me a second and a half to 3 seconds to reorient and realize what section of the road, what direction, where I'm heading. And that,
I do that, but I consider that falling asleep at the wheel.
Oh, no, I was just zoning out, thinking about whatever was on the radio or whatever I'm planning my day, and just, you know, you're on autopilot. You're staying on the road, you're cruising down, you're avoiding the cars or whatever you have, but you're not paying attention to... And also, the longer you live, the more things look like someplace you've been before. So there are times I will suddenly come out of it and go, I felt like I was in Ohio or Kansas or, you know, Florida.
You're not in Kansas anymore.
No, I was just there for a week.
You feel like that everywhere in Virginia Beach.
That you're in Kansas?
No, that you're at a different... Everything in Virginia Beach looks the same. And so you roll up
That's
to a
racist.
stoplight and you're like, that way is such and such. No, it's not. You just think you're at... All of the, like, intersections look the same. It's really annoying. It's because it's all new, but it's trying to look old. And all of it is all new, trying to look old.
Like Miami.
So, I've never been to Miami.
You ever watch Eddie Izzard?
No.
Go watch
Oh
Eddie
my
Izzard.
god.
Cross-dresser, British, comedy, stand-up comedy, lots of history, intellectual stuff. There's one time he's talking about... And by the way, he does a whole thing on, I'm a cross-dresser, I'm not gay, and here's the difference, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Eddie Izzard, tell me if you need me to spell it.
I'm gonna probably put this in and see if it works.
Oh, what is it? I don't know what you grabbed.
It's like lizard without an I.
That's what I wrote.
Without an L, I mean.
There you go. You had two
Without
Ds.
an I. It's lizard.
See, I forget sometimes.
There's one time he's talking about, you know, that, I'm from Europe. That's where the history comes from. I mean, I go places here in the U.S., like I was in Miami, and they mentioned that they restored this old building to like it was 50 years ago. Oh my God, not 50 years ago. Were there even people back then?
So I was discussing this with my mother the other day, and I was like, everyone when I was in Britain, they were like, what is it like in Britain? You know, what does it look like? People from home in Norfolk. And I'm like, it just looks like older versions of what we have there. Because Norfolk was actually, like, all of the downtown buildings in Norfolk were built to look like Oxford, England. And I was in Oxford, and I was like, it just looks like downtown, but older, like more authentic. I don't know.
The difference is the side of the street they drive on.
And the accents.
Oh my God! When you cross the street, you have to change the way you cross the streets there. I almost got run over so many times.
I had it happen at least once where I looked both ways, stepped out on the road, and there's a fucking car. Because I'm used to looking right, right, instead of left, right, left. You didn't have...
I looked both ways twice. I didn't have that problem.
Yeah,
I never got ran over. I never got almost ran. It was great.
We didn't get run over.
Oh, then what else is wrong? No.
What else caused your mental damage? It's not dementia.
called middle age.
It's somewhere between getting older and I don't give a fuck. Do you need to go get a bottle opener? We don't
Go
want
get a
our
bottle
guests
opener.
to suffer the whole show.
Go get a bottle opener, Mo, and we'll just talk about you.
Okay.
Okay.
Only horrible things.
Okay.
Oh, come
And go.
Mo's a whore.
a bull.
A bull. And a bull.
What? You said... I
Mo
don't
is a
know.
bull. Hold on.
What?
Mo is a bull that's a whore.
What?
Whoa!
What's horrible?
When
It's horrible.
It's like adorable, but hot. Horrible.
See what happens. Now, did you shake that up first?
Senor.
Yes.
Shake.
It
Shake.
I was waiting for it to...
It didn't. It's old.
Wait, are
I
you
think
talking
it's
about the
from last
apple juice in me?
Thanksgiving. It might
Is it from
actually...
50 years ago?
50
No.
years ago.
The company isn't even 50 years old. Actually, wait. It is exactly 50 years old.
See?
But not when
It's
you
their
bought
first
it.
bottle.
It was only
Not this
49.
bottle.
Mm.
You're right, not when I bought it, because this is from, like, Thanksgiving last year.
No, it's not
Yeah,
that
it
bad.
is.
It might be actual wine now.
That's okay. Ask Andrea when we bought the apple cider that's in our fridge.
When did you buy the apple cider that's in
Thanksgiving.
your fridge, Andrea?
It's not apple cider. It's sparkling apple juice, and I don't know.
Is it good?
Yeah. I had a bottle like last week. Well, it's just like soda. I don't like sparkling stuff, so I can get a 6-pack of like these little Pepsis, and it'll last me almost a year.
Oh, wow.
I don't like soda that much. I like it warm and flat. So I open it and leave
How
it
I
sitting
like my
out.
women. We should talk about the topic now.
No, that was great. Let's do that.
That was a segue into what we're talking about. Look how it
I
related.
have said this before. I'm going to say it again. Themensha is an ode, a very long and drawn-out ode to saggy breasts. I learned how to draw a saggy breast just for Themensha.
Probably
It
not a
took
lot of-
time and effort.
Wow.
From the artistic point of view, that's a very fair point because there's not a lot of call for saggy breasts. There's a lot.
Everybody
of call
wants them all up here
Yeah.
and round
for
and
huge and rounded, or small and petite and firm, and you never see an artist that draw. Hold on, while I draw this hot chick on her back and put those titties under her arms where they belong.
Exactly. Like, they're in different
armpit.
zones, man.
Yeah. Like the nipples are like, the bright light. I'll be over here.
When you, like, pack pack. What's the opposite of pack?
Unpack.
Bind?
Oh.
Bind? One of the ways they tell you to do it is tuck everything under your armpits and
so
then
you
pull
won't
the binder on so you get a flatness over your chest. I'm like, but it makes you, like, really weird shape.
Hourglass.
I feel like
It makes my
some people would have to pull them behind.
Saggy boobs. One moment, I'm gonna be hunchback today. Let me just pin them together with the nipple rings.
and if you did that,
Ah, yes, there we go.
if you did
They're
that,
out
it
of the
would
way.
make your
Let's get to work.
torso look like a chameleon crossing the road all day, just looking in two different directions.
But they don't, like, move and twitch in the different directions unless there's a cold breeze.
Why is it every time I get cold, I feel like I have a glandular issue? Turn me on, touch my pits.
Exactly. You got it now. I'm so glad.
Yeah,
Educating the world.
we are.
Wow.
Why
No
can't-
comment.
Yeah, well, Bob is probably actually working.
Oh, yeah, you missed that.
And by working, I mean
Okay.
at work and somebody's watching him as opposed to actually at work doing something. I don't know what Bob actually does, and I'm not saying he doesn't work. I'm just saying I know he's worked with Ed and Teresa, but I don't know
We
what he
have
does.
ideas. They're probably not right,
Well, I know what
but
he
we have.
does when nobody's looking, or at least when most people aren't looking. There's probably a few people looking. I can guess what he does then.
Very good. Very good.
You said the Themensha preview is all lowercase.
It is now.
Okay. How about you tell everyone a little bit about it? And I'm going to post a link to the preview.
Alrighty.
Give us your elevator pitch.
Yes.
My elevator pitch. I don't usually have it to read off of.
It should be right on top of your campaign.
My mind went blank.
I can read it.
Sorry. You could.
You want me to read it? You want me to do an impersonation of you and read it?
Yes, do an impersonation of me. I want to see what you do. There you go. Perfect. Awesome.
The book, it's a graphic novel that I drew, and it's in memory of my Nana. And it's going to explore the themes of dementia, Alzheimer's, LGBTQ acceptance, familial bonds, and finding purpose. And it's modeled after a little bit, not totally, it's a little bit modeled after my own life and experiences. Like, the mother is not my mother. Well, a little bit in the beginning, but not so much anymore. So there you go. Want to buy one?
It's me! It's like looking at a mirror! I love it!
Except you have more facial hair than me.
Yeah.
I don't have a mustache, though.
No, but you got a beard. I don't.
Give it time. What you do is just grow it out and then wrap it around.
So my mom keeps saying, she's like, right here you got like horns going. Soon you'll be able to turn them the other way and have like a goatee.
Yeah.
I'll definitely show you how to do a handlebar mustache if you get to that point. And you want one.
Yes.
Yeah. They're great conversation starters, I tell you what.
Yeah, they are.
I feel like I want to use it to poke people, though. Like, use the beeswax, make it really hard, and then be like, ha!
Well, you could definitely do like a Wario mustache.
Yeah. Oh, no. Wario, which one's which?
I thought it was just lightning.
Do they both have the, like, pencil? Yeah. Lightning bolt, yeah?
His lightning bolt. I have poked Andrea in the eye when leaning in for a kiss before. Yeah, it creates violence when you. They're like tusks. They are.
Well, if he doesn't keep it trimmed, they get really. And he's poked himself in the eye before.
Andrew likes to take him, curl him into a hoop, and put him in my nostrils.
What kind of piercing is that? Well,
it's not a Prince Charles.
Oh. Wow. I don't even know. So do we want to talk about the Kickstarter?
What I'm understanding with Themensha, graphic novel, for those not in the know, graphic novel is basically, it is a book with pictures. And that's an oversimplification. But you got to take the word novel. So there is a definitive storyline, and it's complete in this one book. That's the novel part. Graphic means there is art to accompany it. And this here is Mo's grandmother recently passed and had suffered for 2 to 5 years, depending on where you want to start the marker, from Alzheimer's, thus dementia, as well as cancer. And I'm not familiar with what kind of cancers. I probably knew and just haven't recalled. But also, it does cover the family connections and those bonds between generations. Did somebody comment something? Did I miss something?
Sorry. Yeah, Bob. He says, I love books with pictures. Penthouse, Playboy, Jugs.
Well, these are full of saggy boobs.
There you go. It'd be like the Penthouse of women at Bob's age.
Only one woman, though.
Whatever. It only takes one. There can be only one.
Okay.
That's right. You can't be inside 2 at once. Well, I guess technically, depending on. Anyhow, the book also goes into...
You got 2 hands.
Yes, and 10 fingers and many toes. So, yes, I was definitely not correct in saying... Anyhow, moving... I'd like to actually discuss your book and then wait for the 3rd hour for this sort of stuff.
Okay.
Just because I want
Make
to
a
promote
note.
you.
you know.
I want it.
This is why I told you I love the third hour.
We love the
and
third hour too.
I want to stick
But
around.
also,
for the
I know
third
what you're
hour.
doing. As a creative person, what you're doing is dodging promoting yourself because
Exactly.
we're the least best at promoting uses.
Least best at promoting us? Awesome.
Grammars. Anyhow. Because you'll see a really well-written author suddenly fall into baby talk when they have to talk about their own stuff. I got your book and boxing.
We need that comedian on here too. Okay.
Brian Regan.
Yeah. So I was gonna say we're talking about the inspiration.
Yes.
Correct, Travis? Is that what you were talking about?
Well, I was also going into other things it covers is Moe's own journey, because the blurb mentions LGBT acceptance, but this also in the character mirrors some of the experiences Moe has had during, what's the proper term now? Transition, journey, what are we calling it now?
I call it transition.
Okay, thank you. I don't know. Give us 2 years and we'll both be wrong on that one.
Yeah.
There's just too many words.
We like to call
don't
it the
know.
chrysalis and then the beauty pit. Shut up. No, socks filled with sand are not allowed in those books. What about socks half filled with water and oatmeal? Talking to Bob.
I thought Bob's socks were filled with other things when he's looking at the magazines.
It's like the picture I have Ernie from Sesame Street putting on the thing. Like, I accidentally put on my cum sock. Anyhow, I need to put tobacco in this. Okay, Andrea, that's where I was going. I wanted to make sure I mention and bring in the LGBT aspect also, because to me, as a friend of Moe, I feel like, yes, the dementia, the Alzheimer's, absolutely an important part of the book, but this is the subplot. This is the B storyline, the LGBT. It's still very important to the story arc, though. Okay, go on, Andrea.
Oh, I just have like a bullet list. I was going to say the inspiration.
30-6, 40.
What?
You said you have a bullet list. I need my 9mm. I need
not that.
Bob says my mother passed first of dementia and later sepsis brought on by Alzheimer. Horrible
sepsis.
Sepsis, thank you. Bob, totally agree. It's actually my worst fear. I would rather be blind or deaf or not able to walk than have my mind slip any more than it already has.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, as far as the inspiration, because I read some of your posts about your grandmother, and she's done a lot, and it's awesome. So,
Hi, Des.
what inspired?
Here's you.
What?
Sorry.
What inspired?
What's the thing that inspired you to say, "Hey, I need to put this on paper and share it with the world"?
I think the thing that really pushed me, well, I art when I'm sad, first and foremost. So, when she passed away, my number one coping mechanism is draw. And I decided to focus that. I wanted to, use that energy, use that momentum, and make something quote-unquote worthwhile. Not that anything else I've made isn't. Just, I wanted to make it truly...
This has monumental meaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the reasons I decided to focus on this and not like one of my other projects was a lot of my friends, they knew what Alzheimer's was, or they knew what dementia was. They didn't know they were the same thing, or that Alzheimer's was a type of dementia. And they were like, yeah, it's that memory thing. Cool. And so they all had this sort of general idea that there was this thing out there that affected an elderly population, but they didn't know how that affected them or how that could affect them.
What age bracket were they in?
I'm talking 17 to 22.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel by 22 they should have more information than that, but 17, perhaps if sheltered. Okay.
Yeah. But they just, it was one of those things where they were like, it's when you lose your memory. And I was like, it's when you lose words, it's when you lose your memory, it's when you lose motor function. I mean, it's a lot.
History,
Personality.
People don't realize that losing memory, you lose whole chunks of yourself. You lose the parts, the elements and stepping stones that created who you are today.
And so you have major personality shifts, and that can be just horrible for family, because one of the things that you'll find is that the person suffering doesn't know that this is changing. They're losing these pieces. They are changing, but since they don't remember who they were yesterday versus who they are today, it's something that is felt by the family. And one of the things my grandmother did was she always supported me. When I came out, because I came out multiple times as different things, trying to figure out who I was, she was always behind me no matter who I became. And so I decided through her journey, her 6-year journey, no matter who she became, I was going to be with her and behind her. And it was a struggle at times, but we made it work.
And if I may, Bob, as it's awful for the person, terrible for the family caregiver, and I think Alzheimer and dementia has always been here, but we see more of it as our population is living longer. Definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And now is where
our base computer program starts to deteriorate once we've spawned for too long.
Very Matrix.
Have you ever seen that wonderful video? It's the humanity and life described like a video game, and it's you have like the first 6 years are your motor skills where you're learning the controls, and then the next 8 years are sort of a trial, but it doesn't really have to do with anything of the actual game once it starts at 18, and you can decide to take this alternate route through 4 years, 4 levels of what's called higher education, which is supposed to put you out a little bit further than those who just come out of the regular trial run.
This is like the game Life.
Yeah.
Only in video form, okay.
Yes, it's so great. I think it's called the video game of life. I love it because it just... Okay. And then it's like... And then once you get to about level 60, you're supposed to max out your family and money chains. And then by the time you're at 80 or not level 80 or 90, you start having glitches. And then one day the screen goes black and nobody knows what happens afterwards. Maybe you respawn as another person. Maybe you get this like infinity realm where you just sort of hang out with all your friends for the rest of time, and
maybe you get
really
a different
interesting.
Game. By the way, Bob says, "See, I can be sensitive," and then
yes, Bob,
Des is sneaking up on you. He's gonna get you from behind. Here he comes.
With the squeaky shoes.
He's gonna find just how sensitive you are.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
They will be.
Wow.
Ah.
So. Okay, I'll post the link to the preview again, so if anyone wants to see it, to see what Mo is talking about and describing. But do you want to talk a little bit about the family support system and how you coped with the diagnosis? And is that going to be brought up in the graphic novel?
I'm sure it's in the graphic novel in a way, but I don't think it is explicitly brought up. To be honest, because it was never explicitly brought up in our life, like how are we going to deal with this? Really? It just sort of, you settle in where you're going to settle, at least in our experience. But for the coping, so this all started when I was in 10th grade. So this was very early on. I didn't tell anybody at first. My family was one of those families, and still is, especially those sort of who aren't with us, if that makes sense. People who are like living in Canada or abroad or whatever. People who aren't physically here with us.
Gotcha.
They wanted to know everything before anybody not related knew anything. So we had this really weird thing where I couldn't tell my best friend until all of these people in different time zones and different places in the world had their chance to find out what was going on. Yes.
That's not weird 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was, or 20 years ago, or whatever, in the past, it was a general rule before announcing any major family change, like we're getting married, we're having a baby, grandma's crazy, whatever, you would tell the family before announcing it to the world at large. Now, it was easier 20 years ago. Without the internet, you could announce it at work, and nobody in your family knew that you told anyone. But now, people are making these huge life announcements on Facebook or Twitter.
Before the family even knows.
Yeah, and the family is kind of hit unprepared.
And that's how they find out.
Yeah, and that's how they cope with being pissed. They lash out at the person who told somebody besides them first. It's actually just a emotional reaction.
But we had a lot of that going on, and I understand on the one hand, but then like it caused problems in my social life because like this was a huge part of my life at home, but I was expected not to tell anybody about it. And so everybody's like, "You're kind of down," and I'm like, "Yeah." But I just stopped because otherwise I would like get upset and then they'd want to push. And my best friend Michaela still brings it up all the time. She's like, "Well, there was this one part of your life you didn't tell me anything, you know."
By the way,
of course,
another unspoken rule of adulthood: you have one friend that's a freebie. You're always allowed to tell them before your family. Your best friend, whoever that is at the moment, that's the one you can go to. Now, they have to keep their damn mouth shut. They're not allowed to tell anyone. But you have your inner support system you're allowed to tell before your family. That's acceptable.
I love Mickey.
But...
And by the way, Bob
But
said you have a
at
better
the
beard
time... Really?
Could be.
What?
There you go.
But Mickey at the time was very living life through Facebook, if that makes sense. So every little thing made it to Facebook. Every little thing was, "Pray for my friend. They're going through..." I'm not going to tell you what's happening.
Oh.
But pray for my friend because they're going through something. And I was like, we can't do that. This isn't something we can do that with. And so we didn't.
By the way, that's not something you could do with anything. Never do that. Okay? The vague booking is wrong.
I hate vague.
I hate that.
Yeah. And that's all I got to say about that one, is never do that about anything.
I have a lot of friends that are like, "I'm going through some stuff. Please pray for me." And I'm like, "Are you going through tests or are you like dying?"
Yep.
Either way, I feel like I should pray because something's happening. But like I also feel like I shouldn't pray because you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly should I be praying for you right now?
If you were a movie
do
on
I need to get out the
IMDb?
rosary? Do I need to get out the rosary or the Ouija board, or are we good with just like 2-finger prayer? You know, like.
I've got a great idea.
Oh God.
Bob.
See what you did?
$1 million idea here. Oh, that's not that much nowadays, but whatever. So we create.
$1 million, fine. I'll take it.
We create a Bluetooth, Wi-Fi adaptable Ouija board type thing that we put our hands on. And multiple people put your hands on the screen, and it types out messages and posts it to your social media for you as a group.
Ooh. What? I like it.
I just came up with it. Give me time to work on it. Okay, go on.
Well, see, Mo, you know how to do applications for mathematics stuff to make apps, correct? Get with Travis. Well, whatever. We'll say yes.
Actually, that's what modeling in Sim's going to teach me. I have a wonderful thing on Linux and game design this coming semester.
See, I've got your senior thesis right here where you have to make your own app.
I actually have to I have a capstone project this coming semester that I have to do for my last master's program. So, it'll be fun. I think it's supposed to be like a system, though. But, I mean, that's a system. We can make it work.
We could even set it up so you don't need a special thing. This could be an app straight on the phone. I wonder if there's a Ouija app. There's got to be.
Wouldn't it be fun if they did it but it's like you could have a group of friends, and it was like you put your thumb to the, like they already have the ones where like you can put your thumb on the screen. It's the thumbprint kiss, where it's like from afar you put your thumb and they put their thumb, and it's like, oh, you're both touching your phone at the same time. It's so cool.
Back in my day, we would stare at the moon. And across the world, the other one would look at the moon, and we'd be like, look, we're looking at the same moon. Thumbprint my asshole.
Travis.
Thumbprint your asshole.
There is an app. Sorry.
It's okay.
What?
Oh, no, we can.
It's called Spirit Board Simulator. It's a Ouija board, and it's on Google Play.
But what we need is what Mo was talking about, where if you and I both have the app, Andrea, we can both put our finger on it when we're connected via the app, and we do it together.
We'll put our finger on it.
So you could have 4 people linked up, all in different places across the world, using the Ouija board on the phone together, but not make it
That's
a
a
Ouija
different
board.
kind of LinkedIn.
And then you could like cast spells over the net of area that you guys like cover. It could be a GPS, a GIS system too.
I don't know if that's a good idea. We discussed this on yesterday's show.
And then you could do it like people are like around Washington D.C. I'm gonna stop there.
I was thinking more
wow.
of make it something that posts to social media, or like a Magic 8 Ball where you ask questions and it has certain answers that.
They have an app for that too.
Yeah, but ours will be ours, so it's different.
That's what
It could be a Magic 7 ball, whatever.
Wow, I'm happy with 2. I don't know if I'd want 7 in there.
I got
Jiggle it a
a Magic 2 ball. I get yes or no.
Hold on.
Yeah, the
Let me
Magic
check.
2 ball and then jiggle. Oh, wow. This
It's
is
more like a Magic 2 coin, but you know. Because
The hell
I
are
get
you
yes
touching?
or no. It's heads or tails.
If they feel like a coin, go see a doctor.
This
But
went
then I
a
could pay
weird
with them.
direction.
Okay. Back to
Then you
Themensha.
just stick them in the like
Yes.
vending machine. You get your stuff, and then you pop them back out like the string
You
coins.
stick them in where and you get your stuff? And they pop out?
You don't
Yep.
put them in and then pull the string. That's something different.
And Elizabeth says, make it a cannoli. And Des says, fuck dementia and degenerative brain disorders. Absolutely. Fuck them.
I'd
They
rather
suck.
not, because then they might spawn.
You go fuck them with your coin-shaped testicle.
There you go.
So,
Put it in the slot.
Mine's like a golden dollar coin. Maybe
What,
it's
it has an
two-tone.
Indian
It's like
woman
a
on it?
toonie.
Or a Native American woman? I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hey, Jeanette's joined us. Hi, Jeanette.
Oh, hi, Jeanette. I'm sorry.
so your main character,
Lee.
and your Lee, sorry.
Me.
What is the age? The approximate age?
Age. I wanted to make sure it was ambiguous enough that people of different ages would be able to sort of feel the feels.
Identify?
Mm-hmm.
Identify themselves. However, a rough age I went with was when my grandmother was first diagnosed. So we're looking at 15, 16.
Okay.
Or my age when my Nana was first diagnosed.
Yeah,
Okay,
looking
so
through
kind
the
of-
preview, you can't tell, is that high school? Is that work? Is that college? What's going
Yeah.
on there with Lee? You're not sure. And that it is nice and vague.
And that's good.
Des says
So-
ambiguously gay duo. That was a good bit.
Yeah, it was.
If you haven't ever seen it,
Um,
Mo, it's entertaining. It's a Batman Robin Saturday Night Live
Isn't
knockoff.
that- yeah, Saturday Night Live.
And when they fly around, like the little one is like just on the back of the big one, hunched over his tushy.
It is hilarious. So you're doing a Kickstarter for this. When did it
am.
start?
It started
When did it
June
end?
1st.
Mhm.
It ends a month later. I was going for July 1st, but somehow I got July 2nd because I think of when I launched.
Mhm.
It's like 2 minutes into July 2nd or something like that. So
And-
it's June,
and it-
July 1st is its end.
Now, is the link for that a capital T or lowercase?
Capital T,
Okay.
I hope.
Well, I'm
Pretty
putting
sure.
it in there, and there we go.
If it doesn't work, y'all can yell at me.
It says something is wrong.
That's okay. I put the full link in there.
Did you? Okay.
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 You can click on the big long one too.
Yeah, if it's a matter of clicking,
Yeah,
putting
you
a
can.
big link doesn't matter. If it's a matter of trying to remember it for later,
Yeah, I'm
and it's a
trying to
different
make
story.
sure what works. It is
Travis
a
has a
lowercase
long
t.
link. I have a little link.
But you've got a better
It's a-
beard.
It's a lowercase t, just so you know.
Okie dokie.
So okay, so it ends July 2nd.
Yes.
What are you
Slash
hoping?
July 1st.
What are you hoping to get from this? What is your goal?
My goal is, so the actual financial goal is $1,000. I chose $1,000 because that is the amount it would take to get the minimum sort of bulk pricing from 2 of the lower printers. I have 2 printers in mind, and so for those, they're not as good a quality, but they sort of have this 50 copies is your lower level for that. And so $1,000 was a nice rounded number. I think it's about 60 copies that I actually have to sell, physical copies, or $10 digital, but I don't have to buy you a physical one if you buy digital, if that makes sense. But anyway, so $1,000 gets the bulk pricing, because when you're buying or creating a graphic novel, it costs more. You're printing in color, you're printing pictures on a majority of pages, if not every page, and so your printing costs are disgusting. I mean, I can get a book printed through CreateSpace, and I can make money off of just buying one and selling it, for a reasonable price. However, I go to any place that actually specializes in doing graphic novels, so I'll get a better quality print than CreateSpace, and they're gonna cost more. You get one copy, and I'd be selling it for like $40, and that's not worthwhile to anybody in that endeavor.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure some people would think it's worthwhile, but I went with 1,000 because that's 50 copies, and I figured, I know 50 people. I can get 50 people in a month, so we're at the point now, or it's 60 people, but we're at the point where we're actually under 50 more copies, and it'll be funded. So less than 50 more need to sell.
So, go ahead.
I want to ask about the cover, or at least the title shot you have here. Andrew,
Yes.
Is there something, whatever you were going to ask, do you want to ask that before I go into this? Because I don't want to cut you off if you're in a train here.
I was just going to say, when this is all said and done, are you going to have a copy maybe you can put in a library?
Yes. Actually, my plan is to order a certain number over the 50, if that makes sense. So I will be funding part of it. That way I can sell copies. But there's a few LGBT libraries in the area.
Really?
At the we have the LGBT Life Center, which has their own library.
Is that in Norfolk?
Yes, it is. We have 3 locations in Norfolk. There's also a library over at ODU in the Cultural Center, which is for minority books specialty. And so there's a different sort of shelf for each sort of minority, and LGBT has a spot there. So I plan on putting one there. And also hopefully giving one to like my old school and stuff in the area. And if you can think of, if you want to buy 2 copies, I'll send it to a library of your choice. But I don't want to be like I'm giving away $1 billion, but I'm definitely trying to make sure to make this available to people.
So it's not about the money; it's about getting it out there for folks who don't know where.
The awareness, yes.
I get very little out of that. When we make that $1,000, I make very little.
A few
It's not
comments
about
here,
the money.
not necessarily related. It's
Okay.
good to see Bob and Des getting along. No, it's not the devil's lettuce. Calm your little nipples. My eyes look hazy, probably because I have the curtains closed, so it's dim in here. Today I am smoking cross-eyed cricket, which is a wonderful aromatic with a bit of latakia in it. Very flavorful, very nice. And Des says,
Smells like crickets.
it does. It smells like crossed eyes.
You get extra protein from it.
Wait, we still talking about what kind of pipe are you talking about? So, and Des says, you want to know what my favorite seasoning is? Salt. Pure salt. I am imagining him trying to say it like John Wick.
Oh.
So, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and keep up with their comments, though they're being silly and everything. They come around, so. Okay, so, Andrea, did you have another question to follow up with that?
I think that's it. Just the awareness thing in libraries, and
I want to talk about the cover here. So at first glance, and I often do this because I'm not an artist, I don't pick out the details. But with your cover, you look at it and you go, okay, there's a person's face, there's a brain, and you kind of move on. But if you take a second and look at it, there is a lot in this, as the head comes part of the sunset, and there's a waterfall, and there's a castle way in the background, and there's, I'm guessing, Lee is the silhouette with the sword rushing in like a hero, and then there's the ring. Now that is a ring, not a bracelet, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so, and I'm guessing this ring has a significance to the story and represents things. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the imagery here and what you were putting into it as opposed to what people are getting from it?
Of course. So the castle, I'm going to start on the left, I don't know, the left, upper left-hand side.
Big picture of what the first impression you want, and then go into the details that you've added in the background.
Well, I guess my first impression I want people to see is Grandma. Most definitely. She's in her snapped hospital gown, right. Which is also what she wore at the nursing home. So you'll see that throughout the story for both the scenes at the hospital and scenes in the nursing home. And so there's Grandma looking out with nice blue eyes, because my grandmother had beautiful blue eyes. It was one of those things that, like, she'd look at you and you were like, wow. You've got them eyes.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
She had gorgeous eyes. I'm just saying. The lighting at the nursing home did not do her justice. I tried to get some good pictures before she went, but we did her up. We did her up with all of nail polish and stuff before she died. Like, she died while we were finishing up her nails, and
it's not a bad way to go during a manicure.
Exactly. Yeah. Mickey and I and Mickey's sister were all there. We gave her a little manicure. We put lotion on her. We washed and lotioned. In a way, it was like since Mickey's religious and I'm religious, it was like we were anointing her in a way, like getting ready for her to go.
Yeah.
And she took her last breath at 8:00 when we finished putting the stuff away from that. So I was holding her hand still from putting lotion and cuticle oil on her. But we did blue for her fingernails, and she actually got to keep that all the way till when she was cremated. They didn't remove it. They said that they made a special case and put a note so that she didn't lose that on her way. Because when they take them to like the home, they usually clean all of that off.
Remove any chemicals, etc. Yeah.
But they tested it first, but they were like, no, she can keep that into the cremation furnace. So she kept it all the way to the end. But we have Grandma there. We see her brain. And the idea is that Lee is running into sort of this mindscape from the front. basically, I don't want to say entering through Grandma's eyes, because that's not how it works in the novel, but in a way it's like that's the window to the soul, that's the window to the mindscape, and so it's lined up, you go through the eyes, you're running across the brain, which is sort of a big part of the idea of the theme, at least. You don't see a lot of brains in Themensha, to be honest, but you see a lot. It's sort of, that's the connective piece between the real world and this mindscape, so that makes a big impression on the front cover.
If everything in life, it is our minds, not necessarily the brain, but our minds behind it that connect us to everything we do, everybody we know, everything we experience. Definitely.
And so we have Lee running across the brain, sort of entering this mindscape with the sword. It is an adventure. The beginning of the book is all, I don't want to say like sad, but it's definitely in the real world. You're planted in the real world. All of my books, yes, Andrea?
Oh, I wanted you to finish your thought, but it's almost time for break.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Or do you want to pause, do the break, and come back? How long is your explanation? We got another 10 minutes?
It'll be kind of long, so let's
take
pause.
A refill.
Let's take our break.
Des, Bob, hang out. I just used my Ouija board. It's spelled Andrea.
Spelled what?
Nope. Time for a break. We'll be back. Oh, which one is Mo in? Let's play the Mo one. I really want to know how to make it so we can hear the sound when we play this. Okay, everybody mute themselves. We'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. Let's see. Which one is it? This one, I think.
We're getting toasted at
Talk of the Tavern.
Talk of the Tavern. Here you're always welcome.
Good morning, Talk of the Tavern. It's 6 a.m. from Mineral Wells. And I'm hoping you're getting toasted, 'cause I'm not.
Hi guys, this is Angela Pritchett of Angela Plays Ukulele on YouTube, and you're watching Talk of the Tavern.
Hey, it's Elizabeth from New York, and we're getting toasted on Talk of the Tavern. Yeah!
Hi, this is Syrinx.
This is Wednesday.
This is Morning. And we're Charming Underclothes. And we're getting toasted on
Talk of the Tavern.
So we have to say, this is Bertie, Kayla, Dolly, and Daisley, and we are here getting toasted on Talk of the Tavern.
Talk of the Tavern?
Travis asked me if I do this.
Oh.
And
hi, Travis. Hi, Andrea. Miss you.
We're really getting toasted.
This is Morven Moeller of Dream Punk Press, coming at you from the Strollin' Colon. Hoping you're getting toasted at Talk of the Tavern.
Oh, hey, I'm Joe.
And I'm Nick from Instant Replay Live.
And you're watching Talk of the Tavern.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Richie Munster, and we're getting toasted at Talk of the Tavern. Excellent. You made a man with a very curly mustache very happy. I appreciate that.
Hi, I'm Captain Felina.
I'm Chief Strange.
Of Feline and Strange.
Feline and Strange!
Thanks, Chief. And we're getting toasted at Talk of the Tavern!
This is Jenny from Sweden, and we've been enjoying a lovely weekend at the Cogs Expo, and we're getting toasted at Talk of the Tavern!
This is Joe Kennedy, also known as Roughhead, and I'm being toasted on Talk of the Tavern at my favorite intersection in New York City, where Broad meets Beaver.
Hello, it's Morven Moeller of Dream Punk Press, coming at you from Quixotic Arts in Norfolk, Virginia. Hoping you're getting toasted at Talk of the Tavern.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Ariella.
I'm Bristol. I'm Don. And we're at the Queen's Pride Parade, and we're getting toasted on Talk of the Tavern. Woo!
the Nerd Campfire Music Cloud, and you're watching Talk of the Tavern.
Hi there. This is author R.S. Belcher. I'm not wearing any pants. And you are watching Talk of the Tavern.
Hello, friends! You are now watching Talk of the Tavern. Monsieur Scufflemoss, enjoy.
Hey everybody, this is Talkin' Toey. And when I'm not saving the farm from aliens, I'm getting toasted on Talk of the Tavern.
Hi, I'm Jack Berberette with the Dots RPG Project, and you're watching Talk of the Tavern.
And you're watching Talk of the Tavern.
We are Nightwatch Paradox, and we are being toasted on...
The Talk of the Tavern!
Hey there, this is Ray Dafrico, rock and roll Ray Dafrico of the Night Porters and Ray City Rollers and Kathleen Turner Overdrive and a lot of other bands. Sitting here watching Talk of the Tavern.
I'm sure he thinks you should be getting toasted at Talk of the Tavern, too.
The lights of the big city, so beautiful, so amazing. Hey, it's Pickle Lady from New York. Hey, baby. I don't know the son of a bitch.
Oh, hi. I'm Rich Sigfret, also known as Podcasting's Rich Sigfret, also known as Richie Munster, also known as the Defendant. But you are listening to Talk of the Tavern. You know, I've been on the show and it was a delight. Are you watching? You should be. You're watching right now. So go subscribe. What the hell is wrong with you? I don't...
Okay, we're back, but I'm going to give Mo a second to finish watching it. Because it'll have Mo still watching it on their phone.
That's funny.
You're muted.
We're back on both. We're back on both.
We're back
Yeah.
on both. But yeah, now you aren't those fun little I've enjoyed the stuff people are sending, and you know, that one I definitely tried not to make it anything with one of the hosts in it has other people also. Because it's
I enjoyed it a lot.
and you're in there
I don't know who.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
3 times. I saw 3. No, I like the one. There's the guy. He's like, hi. And the thing is, I don't know his name. I'm gonna have to watch it again. And you have it on YouTube, so I can go and stare at it and comment on it. That's the guy, and it's like, hi, I'm so and so, and you're getting and it's really like awkward. And it's like you're getting toasted on Talk of the Tavern, and then like suddenly from behind him, this like other head shows up. And it's like you're getting toasted at Talk of the Tavern, and then like from the side, this other guy just starts leaning in.
That is Nick.
That is Jack.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go
I was gonna say the guy in the beginning is Jack Berberette from Nerd of the Mountain, and the other 2 are from Instant Replay Live.
Joe Wetmore and Nick Nundahl, and yeah, we've had Jack ran a convention, which was a literacy convention, and was one of our favorites because we love the cons that have a purpose besides let's get together and party. I mean, we love a party con, but the cons that are doing something like Vandalia Con and Con of the Mountain, we love to support those. But yeah, Jack has now created a set of dice for blind people.
Yes.
They have Braille numbers on them. So we've got that, and then of course Instant Replay Live. Basically, they were doing what Twitch does before Twitch existed. They would get together and play a video game while talking over it, just talking shit and having a good time, and then they put it up on YouTube. And it might be, you know, a 5-minute or a 20-minute thing, and they would get enough in there that it filled whatever time they wanted per video. And I was actually a guest on their show twice, and they've been a guest on our show once or twice. Twice?
I think once. Gosh.
But there's one of just them also, and I think it's in the same video.
It is.
Yeah,
but it's like they're really dark, and they're like, oh, hello.
Yeah, they're
I like it though. It's fun.
So we were discussing the imagery of the cover. So we kind of covered the basics of here's the brain and the world inside the brain.
Yes.
Now we were going into Lee with the sword, and you were saying the first part of the book is definitely mundane. It's dealing with the problems. And I didn't realize the book went further than that because I haven't seen anything beyond that. So I'm very curious. Please go on.
So in the book, what happens is Lee gets their inheritance early. Grandma's just been moved into the nursing home. The nursing home isn't very homey. So Lee brings in some of Grandma's things, which includes, or really brings in her jewelry box, thinking, Grandma could put on some jewelry.
Can we call it a
make her feel a little bit. You can call it a treasure box.
I felt
if you'd
like we watched you draw and color in that picture of the box, and watching you, I felt like it was a treasure box. I knew what it was, the personal trinkets that we all keep and collect that we cherished at one point in time, and now they're just kind of a memory trigger. But there are personal treasures from our life.
Yes.
Okay.
So, no, don't worry, that works great. But there are things that Lee thought, it might make Nana or Grandma feel more at home in the nursing home. And of course, everybody's against it a little bit, not because they think Grandma shouldn't be comfortable or feel at home, but because it's like you don't leave nice jewelry and valuables at a nursing home. It's sort of open to the public, nothing locks, you don't do that. And we ran into that a few times with actual things we tried to take to my Nana, so I wanted to make sure that made sort of because a lot of people were like, well, why didn't you take this into her? And we're like, because we're not allowed to, or because we can't. And sometimes it's not necessarily that they steal, yes. But then also you'll have, like, the next-door neighbor be, the lady in the one next door be like, well, why don't I have something like that? We both are here.
Because
and it's like, because you don't have one. Exactly.
Because nobody loves
so it's
you.
also, if only there was someone who loved you.
Wait, are you
I love
talking to
Frozen.
me?
I don't care.
Oh.
Oh no, I'm quoting Frozen.
About me? Go on.
No, about me. No.
We kind of like you a lot. We kind of adopted you. You're our one kid we could be proud of.
Yes.
Don't tell the other ones.
Yes.
We're not saying we love
your
you
kids
best.
are pretty proudable.
But you're our favorite.
Is this the whole third hour thing all over again? I like the third hour most. And you're like, well, yeah, because the other two. No. But, so
the adventure
takes in this jewelry box, and is gifted, whether you believe it's actually magical or if it's just a family heirloom and it's part of the narration. But it allows someone to really connect with somebody else. And what Grandma says is that it allows someone to enter another person's mindscape, this ring. Now, the ring has some symbolism in it, too. The blue symbolizes, I think, selenite or something like that, which is a healing stone. It's primarily used for healing. And silver is understood as a healing element as well,
it's also
whereas
the color
gold...
of her eyes.
Yes. Because it's a window into the soul. And the idea is it follows the family, so I have everyone in the family has the same color eyes. They're all blue. And so the idea is that when Lee wears this ring, Lee can enter Grandma's mindscape. Now there's this idea Lee could enter other people's mindscapes. That's not sort of dealt with in the brunt of the book. It's sort of dealt with at the end, where Lee decides to sort of gains purpose, that she's going to go out and help others.
Use wrong
pronoun. I think I used the wrong pronoun.
The only reason I point that out is to let folks know this happens. It happens.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's done intentionally. And by the way, both sides, whether you're a transgender person or the support group around them, you got to realize this happens at moments. It's okay.
And it's even greater because, like, I created this character.
Right.
And here I am. Yeah. But, so we get to enter Grandma's mind. And I have a lot of places and things in Grandma's mind that represent real things that you're going to notice, and things are going to change. So Going back to what else is on the cover, we have the waterfall. The waterfall just sort of falls out of the sky. It's sort of a magical place, this mindscape. It's not really reality. It's somewhat like your fantasy books, your fairy tale books, where it sort of happens in medieval times, but it's also kind of magical. But so you have this waterfall coming out of the sky, and that is your stream of thought. And as the book progresses, the stream of thought becomes lesser and lesser and lesser. And you have the big fortress of memories, and it gets raided, and parts of it are destroyed and burned throughout the book. And you have the fireflies that show up everywhere, and those are the little things you want to know, those little things that keep bugging you, little bugs. That like flashing on and on, things that you want to know. And the idea is actually throughout the book, more and more of them show up because she's losing her memories and losing that wisdom and becoming more childlike. And so more and more of these start popping up. So at the end, they have to go looking. At the beginning, they have to go looking to find one, you know, because Grandma's trying to explain, like, this is what this is and so on, so that Lee can take that and help others, so that they can take that knowledge with them when they help others later. Sort of this Gandalf teaching the quest hero what needs to be known. But then at the end, basically, they're in a field, and there's nothing else around the field, and you're surrounded with fireflies. So that's the end.
So tell me about the ravens.
The ravens, so I'm dealing with the ravens as another symbol. So they're going to hearken sort of Grandma's death in a way. Now, 2 ravens or 2 crows means joy. And that was the one thing my mom was like, why did you do 2 ravens when they find out Grandma has terminal cancer? And that's why I told Mom to look at it a little bit harder and ask, I said, where are the ravens? And she says, well, they're out on the windowsill. And I'm like, they left the room. They're not in the room with them.
Yeah,
there was no joy in that room. Yeah.
And by the way, I really like, I'm looking at the word bubble right now, just below the 2 ravens on the windowsill. And it's talk, 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 and terminal right in the middle. And I like the way you're conveying the confusion of where when people are talking, they're not saying anything. It's just words, and it's not quite meaningful. You can see there's something going on. I like how you conveyed that.
Thank you. I did that because there were everybody wanted to help. Everyone wanted to talk to us. Everyone wanted to say something, but nobody said anything, you know, important, anything of, and I don't want to say like knowing people are in it with you is not enough. It's just, you know, everybody was like, they were all fighting to put their hand on my shoulder to let me know they were there for me. And I'm like, I expect you to be there for me. No offense, but kind of expect you to be there for me, especially in times like this. And I really actually enjoyed people who were like, who took a step back, who said, you need your space. When you're ready, come. And I'm here. You know,
I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but we purposely do that because we know you're going to have a crowd around you. And it's to a point where you're like, yeah, I really appreciate you here, but can you just back up a step or a day and leave me alone a minute? Give me a chance to... It gets overwhelming. Even though they're there for very good reasons and love and support, sometimes you're like, just shut up.
It's the whole, what would I want people to do for me thing. Go away for a little bit.
3 weeks after, suddenly the mass of your support system that was supposedly there is gone. And that's when we try to show up and go, hey, you still have folks. And we'll talk if you want. Don't.
And we'll be over here.
Yeah. And we'll say stupid shit like we always do and make the bad jokes because we're still us and you're still you. You're just dealing with some shit.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, my mom has read more Into Grief than my dad has. But my dad is probably the one that showed it in the stereotypical ways, if that makes sense. I know everyone's different, and there's less stereotypical ways than you think, or normal ways than you think, because everyone does it differently. But my dad was the one that got really sad and slept all the time and all of that, whereas my mom was like gung-ho, let's do, which isn't her. She's sort of the one that's like, I want to stay in bed and I don't want to go do. She was like, let's go do all the things. And then I just drew a lot in the middle of the night, which is my normal sort of thing. So you don't get to see a lot of that in Themensha because it's more about finding purpose than the actual grief.
Well, but this storyline, it ends shortly after the death of the grandmother. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you don't get to see a lot of that recovery time and whatnot. And so
you get to see sort of a little bit of the impact on Lee, because it sort of has a wrap-up, the idea that, my love, I really like the thing, I used it in a lot of the promos, and it's, my love for my grandmother won't be wasted. It's the same love that everyone feels for their grandmother. It's the same love that you can use that love when your friend loses someone.
Right.
Or to help the lady cross the street, or to find compassion in a horrible situation. All that love you poured into somebody is never wasted, even when that person's gone.
Right.
And so you get that
to the grandmother, because the grandmother has triggered this reaction, thus giving her final part of her life that meaning. Yep. So no, it's good stuff.
Yeah. I try.
It's well, it'll be interesting to talk to you about not just the event, actually probably less so the event, more so the aftermath and what it triggered in you, or in the character Lee if you continue the story. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 50 years. Because, of course...
You're going to be around and still without Alzheimer's in 50 years?
I figure I have a good 30 to 40 years left in me at this point. So, and Mo, this is the way I look at life. Now, you're 22 now, correct?
21.
Okay. Now, look how much you've done in your life. And really, when did your life begin? Maybe when you were 8, maybe when you were 15, when you started doing more than just existing in the environment, where you actually proactively started being an individual and creating and moving forward in some method. Now, some people don't do that ever in their life. But I like to call it, kind of the birth of self-awareness and consciousness. You are now realizing I influence things, whether it's a microenvironment or a macro.
I don't want to toot my own horn, and I really hope that's not what I'm doing. But I was always the kid that was like, or not the kid, but I was always the one that everyone said came into themselves early.
Right.
Like they were the old soul stuck in the body. Like I actively. Now, a lot of it you can be seen through, like, church, because that was a huge part of my formative years, and not because anyone forced it on me. I wanted to go. Like, that was my thing. That was my place. That's where I wanted to be, and it was one of those things, like, my mom and dad would be like, we're not going this week, and I would find myself a ride. I'd call 4 or 5 different people and be like, my parents aren't going to church today. You gonna come pick me up? Like, I came into my own so early that, and I was doing dance from age 2. So I did dance for 13 years. And it was one of those things that I started choreographing my own stuff very early. All the other kids were very cool with just, yeah, we'll do it the way the teacher said. And I was like, well, what if we did this? And so we'd have some dances that were half choreographed by me because I just decided I wanted a voice in it.
Right.
And my dad says he figured it out the day he said something to me. And I turned to him and I said, that's not very nice. You hurt my feelings. And that could change me.
Well, imagine The life you've lived so far,
Right.
and what you've done, and who you are now. Now, add 20 years of life experience where you're not restricted by your parents are paying for your housing or you have to go to school. You're now doing everything you want. Now, at my age, mid-40s, well, you know what I mean.
Money.
Well, you know what I mean, though. And
There's
you
no
realize
money in
that
my
you
life.
could buckle down and you could work hard for 10 years and make a lot of money without doing anything else and then go live much more freely with less monetarily constrained. But yeah, then that's what I'm looking at is I moved out when I was 16. I was also aware at a much younger age, exploring philosophies and whatnot. So if I did that much by the time I was 20, now when I hit 40, I've had another 20 years of life. I've done things in life that are expected, marriage, etc. So now I'm looking at me now, and if I have 30, 40 more years, which is a significant amount of time, what can I do with what I know now? And how much more can I live? Not exist, but live. So when you take life at that point of view that I've done this much and I had severe limitations being a child, yeah, look what could be over the next 20 years of your life.
See, I don't want to be like, I guess, content warning or something, but like, I don't think I was a suicidal kid, but it was one of those things where I was depressed for a lot of, because Nana got sick. Nana was living with us. She was financially unable to support herself since I was in like 3rd grade. So seeing someone I loved and really saw myself in, unable to support themselves financially in this world. She was a computer programmer, and she couldn't support herself. Everyone says that's the job, that you get all the money right now, and you do if you can keep up with it. If you can keep up with it, if you can keep up with the trends and what people are doing, and if you don't get outdated first.
Right.
And so she couldn't keep up anymore. She had a math brain. She was, everybody's like, you got to be a bitch to live in this world sometimes. And my Nana was. So it's one of those things where she had it kind of all working for her. And so does, like, my aunt now. It's like she has all the same qualities and does the same things, but she hasn't been outdated yet.
Right.
So she's doing very well for herself. But seeing someone that I love do that, like, I was, in a way, depressed very early, and so I never saw myself getting to this age to begin with. So, and I don't want that to be sad, it's just, I look around and I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do with myself? What in the heck?
This is actually a beautiful thing, because you've had these experiences much earlier than others. You've gone through them, you've explored them mentally, and you now have a clean slate. You have Rasa Tabula. You get to choose where you go. Now, maybe it's too many options, and that stymies you. You're just like, fuck, I don't know what to do because I got so many choices. I could do anything, but that's exactly it. And you can take 2 years and explore down this way, then 3 years and go that way, and 5 years and have that.
I always joked with my friends that I had a really early midlife crisis. Yeah. And of course, I was like, if this is midlife, then my life's really short.
And it's
but like,
you've got a do-over because you didn't expect to make it to this age. You now have a brand new life because you didn't have expectations of the future. So now you have everything.
Sure.
It's just a mindset.
And I gotta get there eventually.
We never totally do. And we have moments where we get there and then we slip and something happens, whether it's significant or just we bought the wrong bread, whatever. Well, not you, not bread, but...
oh no, my father goes and he gets the wrong bread for me.
But
because he gets a gluten bread.
But yeah, there's more to it. And you are not locked into something that was predestined by your childhood. You've got the whole world in front of you, and you get to choose, and you get to change your mind. And good.
Really quickly, I got a random email from my grandfather yesterday morning that said, "Happy anniversary. Hope you're living your best life." And I was like, "What the heck's this about?" And it turns out it's a year to the day that I came out to my grandparents. So
that's a good.
That was a huge lifestyle.
Now, grandfather on which side?
My father's side. I don't have a grandfather on my mom's side.
I haven't stalked you enough to know these things. Did he pass, or
that was
he
also
just absent?
My grandmother never got married, and each of her kids was fathered by a different man.
You know, I have a theory, and it could be total bunk. But you pointed out your grandmother was always very supportive of you, and that could be because your grandmother relates to what you're going through more than she's ever said out loud.
Oh, yeah.
You know, especially with the math brain, the computer technology, she was working the man's world. By that, I mean the gender man's world, because it was definitely very sexist. Previously, it is still now, but it was definitely more sexist.
It was worse then,
further
yeah.
back you go.
I think the day I knew something was up with my Nana was when she bought pink clothes. But that was back when I was in like 5th grade, which would be 3 years before any of this came to a head. And of course, once it was one of those things where in retrospect, everybody was like, we should have seen it coming. Because her personality started really taking a change about 5th grade for me. And it was just one of those things where, in retrospect, it all made sense. Just like my life. In retrospect, it's like, why did I never like packing sandwiches for my lunch? It wasn't because I was an ungrateful child. It's because I can't eat bread, meat, or cheese. You know, like, that's why I always hated sandwiches and wouldn't eat them and refused to eat them when I was a kid. So...
Can you eat corn?
Yes.
Too bad corn tortillas suck.
If you put them in, like, if you steam them first, they're really good. Like, you can make them good.
For me, it's the texture. I just don't like that floppy, almost slimy texture they have. That's just me. I mean, tons of people love them. It's just me.
If you're interested in looking at any gluten-free foods, not just, like, for me, but if you're interested at all, I really enjoy the King Arthur baking mixes. There's, like, 12 of them that are all gluten-free, and they can be easily made either vegan or dairy-free. Like, they have the instructions on the...
Can you make them bacon?
You can't make them bacon, I'm sorry. But they make amazing pancakes and bread and pizza dough and pie crust. Like, you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's not gluten.
Andrew might want to
I can't believe it's not gluten.
Why? I'm not allergic to gluten.
I know, but all the preservatives that go in things with gluten affect you. So those there, I would assume, have less of that.
They have a really good banana bread, although I always recommend, instead of using eggs, because it calls for like 2 eggs, I put 3 bananas in instead, because bananas can be a good substitute for eggs. And then it just makes them super banana-y. It's really good.
It sounds good.
Okay.
It sounds good. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to. I'm going to share again.
What?
I was going to share the show again on... I'll wait for the next refill break to do the share.
Okay.
I just can't post the same thing. I got to come up with different sentences.
I know, doesn't that suck?
Sometimes, yeah. It makes sense, though. You don't need the same tweet going out, a duplicate tweet or anything. If you want to do that, go share. It's or go, yeah, retweet. That's what I was looking for.
Retweet, regram, repost, reblog.
So, how close are you done to being done with the artwork and the story? Have you written the story completely?
Yes.
Okay. So, with the artwork, how many pages are you expecting to have?
So, actual artwork is about, 90 pages. I sequentially, I'm gonna say it that way. Sequentially, I have finished 21 pages, which isn't a lot. However, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, and I'm sure that it won't. But the idea is that at the beginning, I was really crap at drawing these characters. But by the time I get to page about 20, in fact, like, you can see it already happening, I got really good at sketching these characters on the sketched pages. And so the process is going faster and faster as I go, because I'm also getting warmed up to the project as well. Kind of like when you start a book, it takes forever, but once you're... Some people are different, but for me at least, once I'm at those last 6 chapters, I can just pound them out.
Right.
Great choice of words. But it's one of those things where I have 21 sequentially finished, and then I have bits and pieces of completely sketched, like, they're going to be simple to do later on. And then I have a few later on that I just did early because I was feeling it that day. So I have random ones completed as well. So altogether, I have about 35 completed, so I'm on schedule, if that makes sense. Okay. But there's also a few extra things that are going... The final book is about 120 pages. So... and of course it's about, because there's going to be give and take depending on how things go with the Kickstarter or with the actual lettering, or if I find a plot hole or something and I need to add a page or two or something to fill that in. But there's going to be acknowledgements page, there's going to be a remembrance page, and a few other like informational things in the back. Just because it's a Kickstarter project, and I feel I need to definitely mention those people who have been with me through the entire process.
Are you going to, since you said you're going to mention things, are you going to mention organizations for dementia and Alzheimer's or any of that?
Yes. Okay. I plan to have one spread. Again, it's going to have art included, but it's going to be mostly words on these pages. I am going to have a spread on dementia/Alzheimer's. So it's going to be on dementia, but it's going to probably focus more on Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where my grandmother had Alzheimer's. That was what was diagnosed first.
Yeah.
And then they went back and were like, actually, it's probably just dementia in general. Because she had vascular dementia, which is usually Alzheimer's, but it was also like, it could have also been because she had fluid buildup in her brain. So that's actually called pressure hydro... I have it written down. One moment. Hydrocephalus.
Which is hydrocephalitis.
Sure, that one. But it's not itis.
Oh, okay.
Because itis means it's inflamed. And so since we're saying dementia, it's not the inflamed, it's the dementia that's caused by the whatever. If that makes sense. Because itis means inflammation. But those, a mixture of those is what she had actually. So because she had a hemorrhagic stroke, she had a bleed in her brain that was over 2 centimeters long, so almost an inch long. Which just meant that was pressure building up in her brain. And then she also had, the first time around, she had 2 tumors that pushed pressure against the prefrontal cortex. And the second time around, she basically had brain freckles. There were little tiny nodes everywhere in her brain, especially in her cerebellum, which made problems in her motor skills and balance. So she was just like, she could stand. She had very strong, she could stand, but if she tried to walk, she just sort of fell over because she couldn't balance. It was like someone took the floor out from under her.
Not much to say about that.
Sorry.
No. It doesn't. It's not a conversation stopper. It's just, what are you saying?
It makes you think because, I hear, what it makes me think about is you hear about elderly people falling down a lot. But I never thought to associate it with maybe it's part of this. So
that's exactly what it was for my Nana. The first sort of sign of this. Themensha, the story, is sort of everything I experienced, but I boiled it down so that it's, you know, it's fictional, it's fast-paced, it fits a story arc.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not just sitting around waiting for something to happen like you do in real life.
Right.
So I took 6 years of things, and I condensed it down and pushed it into about a month in Themensha.
Like a show or a movie, yeah, concentrated.
Yeah. But one of the first signs in real life for finding out my Nana was she fell down in the subway parking lot when I took her to go get Subway. This was after she was having brain scans. They weren't finding anything because they were the wrong kind. She needed to have a CT scan. They were doing like fMRIs.
And real quick, hi Kennedy. Thanks for joining, bud. Okay, go on.
And so they were doing the wrong brain scans at first. They should have been able to see it on an fMRI, but only if things were moving, or like only if fluid was moving, because it's the functional MRI. And it didn't help that my grandmother was claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever she went into a brain scan, they either had to sedate her, which slows everything down. Not, of course, to stopping, but it just calms everything. And she was allergic to half the stuff they were supposed to give her to do that. So she got really fancy ones that really put you out. Or they had to put her head in a cage that was strapped to the sort of gurney thing that goes through the machine. So they put this
claustrophobia.
Obviously, but it was just to hold her head in place. And of course, everyone's like, "It's okay, she won't remember this." And we're like, "We don't care. She's uncomfortable now."
Yeah.
One of the first things, this was when I was the only one able to be with her at the hospital, because it was before any of the rest of my family had enough leave or thought it was important, not important enough, but
extreme enough for the moment. Urgent. That's
yeah,
what we wanted.
Urgent enough to be there. They were like, she's just gonna have some sort of blip. It'll be fine. Blah blah blah. They're not going to find anything in the brain scan. So this is when I was like in there, and one of the only things that would get her to calm down was if I sang to her before she went in. So I got to sing lullabies to her before she went in, and until the sedation stuff kicked in. And I actually got to go in with her to a few of them because she wouldn't let go of my hand. It was like when a kid wants to hold on, they get that death grip.
Right.
And so we were also lucky enough that the first time around, I say lucky enough, but the doctors didn't want to do anything. They just wanted to let her go.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, well,
now let her go as in let her die, or let her go as in send her home?
Let her die.
Okay.
They were like, it was a Catholic hospital. They were like, if God believes it's time for her to go, we're like, you're a doctor. You're an oncologist. No.
God put you here for a reason.
Exactly. God put you here to save this woman. Yeah. But they were very, it was lymphoma. Non-Hodgkin's forming lymphoma.
Mm-hmm.
Lymphoma at the time was believed to not be able to just be in the brain. Had to start somewhere else. Now, about 2 weeks after my grandmother was diagnosed with lymphoma, they realized, or when we started treatment on her lymphoma, because we switched doctors, went to somebody totally different, didn't care who it was, we were changing doctors. She was in a vegetative state. She was 24/7. She wouldn't wake up. She wouldn't rouse. She was in a coma. You just sat there next to her and cried. You know, there was nothing going on at all.
If I may, Bob
sure.
says, worst thing about this disease for the caregiver is the moments of clarity. You get that false hope that they will get better.
Yes.
And I feel like that moment is coming up next in this story.
Mm-hmm. We were there, and I say lucky enough again because we saw basically up until the end.
Mm-hmm.
The first time around. And then we switched doctors because she stopped breathing in our house. Called the ambulance. They took her. They were like, "You want to go to DePaul?" And we were like, "No, that was the Catholic hospital. We know exactly what doctor you give us." No, we took her to the Heart Institute instead, the Sentara Hospital here, with the heart. They were like, "Well, it's really for. Is she having a heart attack?" And we're like, "No, but we're taking her there this time. Like, we don't care anymore."
Yeah, we need to draw a different card from the deck this time.
We got an amazing oncologist. This oncologist was married to a whatever the blood doctor is.
Phlebotomist.
Not a phlebotomist, the whatever.
Hematologist.
Phlebotomist just takes blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the proper term for vampires.
Which meant my Nana had a lot of problems with her blood. She had like one of the genes for sickle cell or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so she had some issues with her blood, but not all the issues with her blood. Like, she didn't actually have the sickle cells, but some of her blood had problems. She had one of the hepatitis at one point, I think C. She went on like the weird pill that like makes it okay or whatever. I don't know if it cures it. I never felt, but she had a lot of things with her blood, and she was diabetic. And this guy came in and just was like, we're going to start treating the brain. We don't care where it came from at this point. We're going to start treatment. We're going to do radiology. She's going to have early onset dementia because we're going to kill parts of her brain, but we're going to save her life. How do you feel about that?
It's very Pet Cemetery.
And my mom...
It's very Pet Cemetery.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
The concept of Pet Cemetery is a Stephen King book. You bury your pet in this pet cemetery, it comes back to life. Somebody buried a person there, and they never come back quite right. There's just something a little off about them. And of course, Stephen King, the story goes on from there. But yeah, it's very Pet Cemetery. Oh, look, they're back, but they're not quite the same person.
And she expected to make a full recovery. And of course, there's this little thing where you're supposed to encourage that in your loved one, because otherwise they'll give up hope if you tell them they'll never make it all the way back. Although we were very, like, anybody was sure she wasn't making 100% recovery, but you had to sort of go with the lie. So they kept up hope, so that they kept trying, so that they didn't try to like fight therapy. Michaela's family is going through that now. And so I'm really happy that I can help with that and be with her, because Michaela hates lying. And I've always been very averse to lying. I don't like lying. I'm very good at lying, and I don't like that I'm good at lying. I made a horrible mistake when I was younger with lying that caused some problems, and I decided I wasn't going to do it again, and so I haven't. And so I just pride myself in not lying, and that was a really huge thing for me, and so it's been a big thing for Michaela, and I've been really happy to help with that. But my grandmother started making that. She got to 95% back. I mean, I'm telling you, she was a bitch of a woman. She put her mind to it, and she did what she was going to do. She was stubborn, she was ornery, and she was sort of, get out of my way, I'm going to do it what I want to do.
I tell you what, if I ever hit that point, I wouldn't want somebody to tell me, oh, you're going to make it completely back. Instead, they'd be like, nope, you're a little bit broken, but here's some options where you could still have a quality to your life, because I just don't want to be a burden and sit in as a lump anywhere. So yeah, I'd rather somebody come to me going, oh yeah, you're fucked up, but there's things you still can do, so let's focus on that shit to give your life that purpose and meaning and reason to get out of bed.
Definitely. And so she was 95% back for a while. She was driving, now she had a broken leg, for a part of it. She fell on the curb. I was with her.
So no unicycles.
No unicycles. That was its own story. I had to stand out there in the cold with her.
Is there a unicycle
she was sitting
story?
in snow. No.
Oh, okay, go on.
The broken leg story, sorry.
Checking. I was amazed for a second.
Because my grandmother loved Subway. Remember, the first time she fell was in a Subway parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
She decided, even after I said, Nana, it's probably not a good thing that we go to Subway today, because it's just me, we don't have your walker, blah, 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 it's in the other car. And she decided she was going to Subway. And I was like, well, at least I'm going to go with her. Like, her driving sucks right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'll go with her, I'll drive, whatever. You know, it'll be fine. We can make this work. I'm not letting her go by herself. We get out to the curb, she slips, she falls, she breaks her leg underneath the car. It's all awkward, angle, bone, fun. And she's not wearing a coat or anything. I have to sit there and, like, she doesn't have, like, the control over her stomach to be able to, like, hold herself up. So I stand there with my legs behind her, like, as a chair for her to lean against. Take off my coat because she's like freezing and she has a broken leg, and I call from there for the ambulance to come pick her up. And of course the whole time she's like, well, you can just help me up. And I'm like, Nana, your leg is broken. She's like, but you can help me up. And I'm like, your leg, I can see it. It's broken. I can't help you up. It's freezing out here and it's slippery. We would both be hurt. We're waiting. And it was just this idea that she was like, and then a few minutes,
did she get a
and then you can help me out. She did not.
Oh, okay. I would have been.
We did a lot.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
We did a lot of Subway though. We still brought her a lot of Subway.
What was her favorite?
When we could. She liked the Italian BMT.
It's a good sandwich.
But she didn't like tomatoes, so you couldn't just.
It was an Italian
because they
BM.
want to. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She didn't like tomatoes. So yeah, it was really funny because you get it and you would toast the bread, and then you get to the veggies part, and I'd be like, no, just no tomato, and they're like, but I'm like, no tomato, and they're like, okay, and I said, they're like, what vegetables? I'm like, mayonnaise.
No lettuce, no onion.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Hey.
Towards the end, we started getting her some lettuce, and we'd be like, I'd be like, you know when there's like a kid who says I want lettuce, but they don't really want lettuce, and the guy's like, yeah, and I said, put that much on that sandwich, and they're like, this much? And I'm like, yeah, put that much along the sandwich.
Yeah,
and
it's more like sprinkling
why? And I'm
it
like,
with.
it's got to be hidden behind all the other flavors.
There's no flavor. Yes, by the way, Kennedy is popping in and out here, and he complains that one thing I wish is that the Twitch app would keep streaming when I use other apps. Kennedy, here's what you do, bud. If you're even listening right now and you're not in a different app, go get that old cell phone that you never turned in somewhere, turn it on.
Everybody has one.
Download Just Twitch.
Everybody has one.
4 or 5. Download Just Twitch. Exactly. I've got a drawer full over here. Download Just Twitch to it and use Wi-Fi to stream Twitch. You don't need cell phone service on it. Just hook it to the Wi-Fi, stream your Twitch.
Or take your pick.
There you go.
Go ahead and max out the Kickstarter, and Mo will send you a phone.
Yeah. If you do the rest of the Kickstarter, I'll send you a phone or a SIM card. I found a random SIM card the other day.
I have 2 of those right up here, but they're like 1 gig. Oh no, not SIM cards. I'm sorry, not SIM cards. I have memory cards.
SD cards.
Yeah, SD cards, but they're like teeny now. They're
Mini.
just not even worth
Mini
putting
SD.
in anymore.
No.
Yeah. When you got that 1 gig card, it cost you $30. You're like, yeah, 1 gig, I can get 300 songs, baby. And now you're like, 1 gig, I can only get 300 songs. What is this crap? Can't even get 3 videos.
And now, like, they have the new ones that are like, you need tweezers to put in or something because they're so tiny. And now they have like the adapters where it's like, make this tiny SD card as big as the one bigger than it.
Now,
and then it'll be like you'll have to take that one and stick it into the one larger than that to fit into your old device.
So you do remember the old ones that were the size of a postage stamp, and we had the new ones. You had the converters where you put the one the size of a tooth, I guess, is about the size of the new one. And now I guess the new ones are the
Well, the size of
fingernail
most
clipping.
baby tooth.
Yeah, that's right.
A baby tooth like this one.
So yeah,
We have 5 minutes before the break, so just a warning.
now when we
5-minute warning.
When we come back from the break, we're going to go ahead and do the third hour thing because Mo doesn't like the first 2 hours, hates them, and only wants to be.
The first 2 hours.
We're going to bring
It's
Mo
just
on
the
a show
third
called
hour.
the 3-hour third hour.
I would totally be on that show.
Mo's favorite.
Okay, let's write that down.
Let's see.
It's the third hour show.
Third hour.
Third hour show with Mo.
And to make it fun, we'll make it a 6-hour show. So actually, if you do the math, it comes out as 18 hours.
Oh, you're a math person, Mo. How does that figure?
It does not.
Because it's a third hour. And to get to the third hour, you have to go through 2 other hours. That's just 3 hours, and there's 6 hours of it.
Hours.
So it's 18-hour show in 6 hours.
No.
Wow. Okay.
You're bad at theoretic
math,
physics,
y'all.
aren't you?
I am amazing at theoretical physics.
Get on this bandwagon, baby.
I'm on that bandwagon.
Travis, your theoretics are just kind of wonky.
You know, one of the most
The
fun I
bandwagon
had,
is like this.
I was on a panel talking about sci-fi stuff and weapons in sci-fi, and I was on the panel with like 2 people who had done 20 to 40 years in the military working on these things. And here I am, a little sci-fi writer. And I'm like, I am so out of my league here. And I joined in and I threw out my ideas and concepts. And at the end, they both came up to me going, it was great having you there because you were the idea push behind the facts. You were what A, makes these things come in the first place, or B, pushes them to the next level. And I'm like, oh, thank you, because I really felt like I was just talking shit.
So we'll have a third hour Ouija board app. All right.
Great. It only tells you about boobs and beer.
Obviously.
It's got another dick joke. Are you surprised?
Oh, wouldn't that be a great one, though?
Kind of. It'd be popular, that's for sure. Snapchat? Dick chat. What?
What if it's a Ouija board app, but instead of posting to social media, you like ask it a question, and you know how like you get a fortune cookie, but it's like totally unrelated to anything ever? And what it is it pulls up a random post from like Twitter as your answer.
But not
it's just
perfectly random. It searches for keywords that relate to
Yeah.
what you put in. So it kind of matches, and you're like,
what?
I didn't know
And you
that
could
about
like
Trump.
set it. And you could like set it either to just search yours, like you could connect it to like your Twitter, and then it could be like you ask it a question and you 12 back in 2012 answered that. So it's like you're answering your own wisdom or whatever.
Or it
but
could
like
hook
you could
to
also set
trending.
it to just be random. Yeah.
And of course you could hook it to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so it could pull from all. Man, the processing power. I don't know.
You need a bigger card.
Hey, oh. Bob says
Bigger memory.
Bob says
What
he may
about
have dementia.
Oh.
I might not have got the
Bob.
full statement in there, but I'll just go with Bob says he may have dementia.
Oh, he tries.
He does. Okay, let's go into a refill break. I'll play a different one this time. Let's see, should I go cats, stores, or people?
Stores. I like the store one.
You know, I do have one with me in every single clip. I don't think I've loaded it yet, but I could play that. I probably won't play that one a lot.
Why not?
Because it's me.
Exactly. Toot your
Just don't
horn.
watch it.
It's,
You're the only one of us on here that has a horn.
Let me go load that up. So we'll keep talking until I get it rolling. Give me a second. I'll go and media source. It's great. I name it refill and then whatever topic it is. So here's the refill Travis one.
We have a lot of viewers now, So viewers, we're taking a refill break. We'll be right back.
But you should watch the screen. It's going to be horribly amazing.
It's going to be very entertaining.
We do try to keep you, something like that.
Keep you entertained.
Oh, hold on. I don't know where the hell I put it. Where did I put it?
Is it not working?
Oh, no, it's working. I just put it in...
Well, the screen is blank. That's why I'm asking.
Well, right, no.
Ask your Ouija board.
Okay, I'm setting it up. I've got to enter it into the thing here.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Mute.
I'm a special unicorn.
Watch it on your phone, Mo.
And I'm so getting toasted on Talk of the Tavern. Nay.
Talk of the Tavern. Here you're always welcome.
Hey, look. It's ice. Baby! I'm lost, and I'm trying to find my way to get toasted at Talk of the Tavern. If I can clean up a mess from my peacock, 2 can too. Look, I found a wide-necked turtleneck for a midget. See the boobs go there and then the legs? For the pirates in your life that like to have great hair, argan oil. Hey, want to see the definition of morning wood? Oh my god. It's a patron-only video. Oh god. What'll I do? This kind of shit my friends get, not strangers. I think there's a cat right over there. I just peed a little. I done told you already! Butt bopper. So Barbie now has pink hair, that's kind of cool. And then she also has a dream elephant. Oh, the things Barbie dreams about. Bubble Pong, the way to introduce your kids to bong. Just get them this and some beer. Let them go. My first thought was, that's not a flamingo. Hey honey, I found your game. Oh wait, it says ski, not skis. Never mind. You know what? I really got something I want to ask you. I done told you already! It's time for a nap because we got toasted on Talk of the Tavern.
Kidding.
Look, it's Africa's best. No lie. Farm Friends hand puppets. Don't give this to your teenage son. You know what that leads to in the future. Bestiality. Wiggy wiggy wag, tail to pay. Wiggy wiggy wag, tail to pay. Yeah, wiggy wiggy wag, tail to pay. M&M's named after me. White cheesecake. Did you see that unicorn? It shit and run. You know, sometimes when I just gotta go, but I can't, I need a little pre-poo. Seen it all. Look, it's a poop sharpener. It gives a point to my shit. It's the Gallagher game, fun for the whole family. Or assaulting a stranger. I done told you already! I do what I want.
Don't egg him on.
You want a piece of me?
No money.
Wiggy wiggy wag, tail to pay. I'm a dog and I like my bitches. I don't like lion, they get snitches. Hold on. What the hell is this place called again?
Cigar Realm.
Cigar Realm. Mommy's baby. That's where mommy keeps the baby. At least it's ashes. That must be some kind of fucking lifestyle. Look, it's just like me, a white booty. You ever felt like a sandwich?
Bitches, fuck, you motherfucker. So I'm going to go for a doggy rap. I turned to Russian, sounds like crap. Fuck.
She's right around the corner. Did you see her?
I done told you already.
And we're back for the third hour.
Yay, third hour.
Third hour is the best.
It is.
Now what?
Oh, Bob. Okay, I have a few things. Okay, so, I was wondering, I notice behind you there, Mo, you've got your sign.
I do.
And you've got a line through games.
I do.
I have an idea. Since obviously games are not inclusive anymore, take the tape off, leave games up there, and instead put a little arrow pointing up and right below it write mind.
Mind games. Perhaps I'll do that.
Just a thought. No pun intended. And also, early, what kind of mind games could you give people when they come up to your table?
Oh, what kind of... Am I a guy or a girl? Enjoy.
There's the first one. What am I today? And don't offend me. Trigger warning. I heard you earlier.
Exactly.
I heard you say content warning, and I'm like, that's so much better than trigger warning.
Of course it is. I don't like trigger warning.
I don't either. Get it? See, when I see trigger warning, I'm like, oh, challenge accepted. Except for 2 Girls, 1 Cup. With that one, I'm like, no, I don't need to watch it.
That's not real.
I don't care whether it's real or not. I don't need to see it. I've had enough spoilers. I know what what shit's gonna happen.
Ew.
You're familiar with that, right, Mo? You know.
No.
Oh, Andrea, you
talked about it before, but I.
All right, Mo.
Here's a
There's
meme.
This video. There's the video, and it's 2 girls in 1 cup, and they kind of poop in the cup and eat it.
Ew.
You're welcome.
With a spoon.
Why?
Some people they're saying, I don't know.
No.
Exactly.
So when I heard what this is about, I went, nope, I got the idea. They're like, have you watched it? I'm like, no, I got the idea. They're like, but you should watch it. I'm like, no, I've got the idea.
No.
I'm good.
Why would I watch it? I'm good.
Yeah, but you have to see it to believe it. No, I believe you. I'm good.
Some people just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who comes up with that? Oh, we're just sitting around one day, 2 girls sitting around one day. Oh, I have this cup. I have an idea. No.
You know a girl didn't come up with that idea. Maybe that's sexist of me to say, but that was some guy that went, I've got an idea, and the girls went, oh, what? Oh, there's $1,000. Get a spoon.
Gosh, I wouldn't even do it for $1,000.
No. Well,
whether I'm a guy or a girl,
no,
I just
it was
nope.
fake. People point out that's like soft serve pudding or, whatever, and I'm like, I don't care. Still, I'm good. I don't need to see it. It's yeah, being in the room with that would make me gag or vomit, let alone participate. No. I said no.
People get turned on by weird things.
I don't know if that was a turn on for anybody or just let's watch a modern freak show because we don't have enough crazy shit to go over.
Oh my gosh. But like we have way too much stuff to go bleh over.
We do. We could just watch the news. It's still entertainment.
Or watch the refill break.
Hey.
Yeah. Or send videos in for the refill break.
In one of the videos for the refill break, there is me in the toy section, and there is a unicorn that poops rainbow soft serve in the toy section of Target.
But it's also part of the commercial for Squatty Potty.
It is.
True.
It is. I'm sure that's where they got the idea for this toy game.
This machine thing, yeah.
It's like,
a friend of mine who does art for Pride, because it's Pride Month, did a bunch of farting unicorns but they're farting all the different rainbow prides, like pride rainbows.
So there's like 500 of them.
The different flags, yeah. And I was just like, I don't know if I like this or if it's like demeaning that my pride is coming out of a unicorn's asshole.
Well, you understand the process, how they got to that, because they say, unicorns fart glitter or rainbows. So the rainbow would be the first one, so let's replace it with the other flags. But, yeah, you got to go, wait a minute, is this fucking hilarious? Or are they essentially wiping their ass with my...
Trigger warning.
Content warning.
So
no, it's just one of those things I was like, I know there are people that are going to like it, but just, I don't want it. Personally.
Yeah,
Let's stick with the Snoopy snow cone machine.
I want one of those. I had one when I was little. I need one.
Maybe I should.
I had a snow cone machine, but it was, I think, My Little Pony.
Was it rainbow?
I got it from
my butt.
No, that's a new one.
So okay.
Oh Lord.
It was like a mountain, like a snow mountain, and you had them like skiing, and when you turned the crank, the like ones on the skis did this. They went up and down the mountain. So it was really awkward. But the thing is, you pulled the one out of the top, like there was one sitting on top, and so you pulled them out. Yeah. You put the ice, and then you like shoved its ass onto the ice to grind, and then it would come out like a hole in the bottom of the...
That's where it does come out of, the hole in the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
But I got it as a gift from someone for some birthday. And it was weird because a lot of my birthdays were for charity. Mm-hmm. And then I'd have people come to my birthday and they'd bring 2 gifts. They're like, well, this gift is for the charity and this gift is for you. And I was like, can't we just give them both to the charity? Because they all thought like my mom was doing it for charity. And no, I was doing it for charity because I did a lot of work with 4 Kids, which is a foster and adoption sort of thing here in Norfolk. I
love this idea. I want to have my birthday party this year at Retro Daddy-O, where we do a live broadcast on my birthday, and they bring a gift. We'll pick a charity, whether it's an animal shelter or whatever, and they could bring a gift for them, bag of dog food, cat litter, whatever.
All right.
A treat or, a toy or whatever. And, yeah, they don't have to worry about me bringing anything. Just bring something to put in the pile, and we'll transport it off to the local charity. Or a check. Whatever.
Yep. That's what I did that for many of my birthdays. Although I also didn't really have birthday parties for a while. It was kind of weird. My birthday falls at the end of August. So everyone's taking their last minute vacations when we were little. Like before school started, before Labor Day weekend. And my dad has birthday right at the same time. So instead, we would do something very adult for like my dad's birthday. Mm-hmm. And then we would put off my birthday party, until Halloween. So I had a Halloween party every year.
Go with every day.
Wish.
We cosplay now. It's every day.
Yeah. But we did a Halloween party every year instead of a birthday party. So people would come to the Halloween party, and we had people that found out it was because it was for my birthday, and they'd bring birthday gifts. And I was like, I really don't want gifts. Bring me a card with a really nice note in it saying, I'm glad you're a year older, but I don't need stuff. That's why I gave my stuff away when I was little and had birthday parties. I gave it away to people because nobody ever got me what I wanted. I wanted Hot Wheels. I wanted Littlest Pet Shop. I wanted like water toys and art supplies, and everyone would get me like bears and pink stuff and sweaters and frilly stuff that I didn't
let me ask you this.
want.
How tired are you of getting art books? Like just blank books. Because you like it in the beginning. You're like, all right, I've got 6. And then you're up to like 15 and you're like, I'm good. I can't.
Actually, I go through them.
Do you?
I go through them very, very...
Probably like me with steno pads then.
Yeah. I go through a lot of art books, so I actually really enjoy them. I have an entire bookshelf in my room full of filled sketchbooks, and every once in a while when I'm really like down and I'm like, I'm just going to redraw something because I can't think of anything new, I go pull one out, flip it open, and be like, okay, we'll redraw this. or it starts me off, because usually a lot of people do like the redraw memes, and I don't like to do that. I know that sounds horrible. A lot of artists do it where it's like they'll take something they drew in 2014 and they'll draw it again in 2015 and draw it again in 2016, and the idea is every year they draw the same thing again, and then they sort of add it to that collection so you can see their art style grow. But whenever I see them, by the time you get to year like 6, it's a totally different picture.
Right.
Because it's like Telephone, the game where
Right.
you say something and it changes and changes, it warps. And I'm like, you're not really redrawing it anymore. You got to go back to the original photo if you want to do that for real comparison.
Right.
You got to go back to the original photo every time. And some people do it that way. But a lot of people just redraw what they did the year before. And so I'm just like, it changes and morphs over time until it's a totally different picture.
You know, speaking of drawing, earlier you said you draw when you're sad.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask, is that why you always start drawing every time I walk up?
Yes, Travis. No.
Thought
I don't start drawing every time you walk up.
No.
Most of the time.
Well, it's not when I leave, that's for sure. I've looked. You're like, I'm not drawing.
Well, it's also just one of those things, like, I'd rather, like, honestly, I would rather draw than, like, be social, if that makes sense. So, like, when you walk up, at this point, not that I want to be like, you don't matter anymore, because you very much so matter, but it's like, I'm not trying to put on that salesperson face when you're there.
I was totally
So
kidding. You have never started drawing when I walk up.
That's what I thought, but I know there are people I do start drawing when they walk up, so I was like, maybe I did that to Travis once, and he's going off of that one time.
No, I'm making a joke, that's all.
Thank you.
You're welcome for a joke. Yay!
Yes! Love jokes. Can I get a dad joke for free since I'm on here today?
Hold on a second. Let me...
I don't get any shots today because I'm not watching on Twitch, but I'm definitely watching the show.
What happens when you tell an egg a joke?
I don't know. What?
It cracks up.
I missed.
You gotta stop talking so I can get the punchline.
No! Not allowed.
Hey, Andrea, for you and
Try
your
it
problem
again.
on Twitch, I find pressing F5 is refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I like those dad jokes. I think it's funny.
Whole book of them.
Like, I know. We have that book.
Do you?
Yeah. We gave it to my dad.
He went, who's this asshole? Stealing my material.
That's exactly what he said.
Comment.
It's okay. He still has it. It's great. He reads more now. It's kind of funny. It's
Okay,
like
Bob.
he's more contemplative.
Bob, don't you remember? She already took it off twice before.
Yeah. It's that dementia.
Don't you remember the tattoos?
I got a tattoo.
Have
You're not getting another one. Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah. No, this is totally unrelated. One of my favorite authors is coming out with a new book in 2020.
What?
No, not you. You're coming out with new books sooner than that.
I'll come out with some in 2020 also, though.
I know you will. It's Rainbow Roll.
Okay.
And I love her work. I've had a few people who have also read Rainbow Roll who've read my stuff. And they're like, I think one of the reasons I like her style is because it's similar to mine. And I don't mimic her because I actually started reading hers after I started writing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure now I mimic it a little bit because I love her writing.
It
but
influenced you.
Yes. But I had one good friend that one of the biggest compliments I ever got, and I guess it's a friend now because now that they message like my Facebook page to tell me this, and then, you know, we kept talking afterwards. But they bought my book at a convention and said, it's like I'm reading a mixture between Rainbow Roll and John Green. And I was like, that is the biggest compliment. Thank you. Go write a review.
Yeah.
Please.
I still need to read your books. I haven't done it yet.
I haven't read yours
Yeah,
either.
well, it's
because we both have a lot going on.
we do. And the thing is, I've gotten so picky. Like I try to give it 3 chapters or like 45 pages or so before I put it down. But there have been some I have picked up and got to like page 3, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. And it's not like the writing is bad; it's just not holding my interest.
What you want to read? Yeah.
Oh, I just picked up a new author who I've been on his mailing list for over a year, and he sends really interesting newsletters. And I picked up his book the other night for the first time and started reading it. First paragraph captured me because he already gave you some.
He's like, oh my god, I found a new author.
Yeah. And I'm like halfway through the book now, and it's not a dazzling book, but between his writing style and the layout of the plot where he's feeding you the bits of the mystery, it's keeping me going. So, yeah. And his name, by the way...
I guess it's kind of like...
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and say it. I got to pull up my email to see what his name is, because I'm going to invite him on the show.
It's kind of like me with Gail Carriger. I read the sample book, and I'm like... Then I bought 5 of them, and then I bought more, and one of her books just came out, and I had the pre-order, and...
Stan C. Smith. And basically, when he's not writing, I guess he's hiking. And he's traveling the world and going to what could be considered exotic locales. And he will include these animals from different regions he visited in the book as more than just what the animal is. For example, there's these tree kangaroos in Papua New Guinea. And those are in this book, but they're so much more than just a tree kangaroo. They have some kind of psychic abilities and advanced intelligence, which is different from humans. And it's just, it captured me. I'm so happy.
So cool.
Yeah. And he writes well.
I picked up...
Go ahead.
That's always a good thing,
It helps
right?
because I don't care how great that plot is. If you write like crap, I'm not going to chew my way through that damn thing.
I read my first Rainbow Roll book when I was over in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up randomly. I was at a Brookstone in Oxford. Very expensive, so I wanted to pick up like 6 books. But I only picked up 1, and I picked it up thinking, it kind of sounded gay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's not gonna be. It's like it was published.
And in this case, you're using gay as the actual term as opposed to a negative term.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
I search out the gay stuff.
What's the first book? Because I'm looking them up. So what's the first book you got of theirs? Rainbow Roll?
Rainbow Rolls, I got Carry On.
Okay. Oh, that's the one I was just looking at. Okay, got it.
Yep.
It's
so
I have called friends gay. And then I always feel like I have to explain, I mean that in the good way, that you're, a little more free and open and verbose and whatnot. I don't mean it as a negative. I'm like, dude, you're gay.
I was up at Retro Daddio yesterday dropping off art. I'm the featured artist up there for June, which is really awesome because it's Pride Month, and I have a lot of really colorful rainbow and Pride-centric art.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this big display. I haven't seen the picture yet because she texted me that that she posted the picture of it finished, the display finished, and I haven't seen it yet because I've been running off during the breaks instead of looking at it. But I was up there, and someone was in the store, and I mentioned I'm flipping through my own art, trying to figure out what I want to leave with her, what I'm going to take with me, because I have a lot of art at this point, a lot of prints, a lot of original and everything, and I took a selection so she could pick and choose. And she was like, nah, you pick and choose. And I was like, well, I'm going to leave this with you because it's gay. And flip. Oh, this one's gay. And then we flipped to one, and she was like, that one's gay. And she pulled it off the stack for me. And I was like, I'm sorry. She goes, no, it's very okay. This is Dean and Cass. I like this.
And hold on, I'm pulling up Retro Daddio's Facebook right this second. And there it is. Our Virginia Artist of the Month is Moeller. Come check out their awesome work. And
Well, and also the Artist of the Month is supposed to come on here, so here we go.
Hey! 2 birds, 1 stone.
What is the thing in the upper right? It almost... It's...
Don't know.
It's a figure. It's a person in yellow, green shoes. What is that?
That was it's an old piece of artwork of mine that has not seen the light of day in years. But it was a self-portrait I did in Residential Governor School for the Arts. But it was called, and I'm going to tell you the original name, which was before transition and everything, but it was called Her Head's Not Quite Stuck On Right. And I don't know how she has it displayed, but the head is detachable. So you can put it anywhere in the room from the actual figure. So the figure, it's sort of, I painted a whole bunch of cardboard, whatever, it's all finger painted, hand painted. I mean, I did like whole hands and stuff, made really gorgeous gradients. And then I went in with just my fingers with some white putty and added all of the lights and darks, shadows, and highlights. And then I gave it sort of a Star Trek sort of theme, so the head has a pointed ear. Half of the skull is exposed, and you actually have a wire coming out that has the eye hanging in front of the skull. So it has a bit of a 3D piece to it. But the head's completely detachable. And during the art exposition for Residential Governor School of the Arts, we had to have all of our pieces up on the wall, but I walked around with the head. Because that was part of it. It was the idea that, you know, creativity, you have to be a little bit off your center to really be creative.
I like the 3 pieces that are one picture of the armored arm with the blue circles behind it.
I was just looking at that, yeah.
It's called Faceless Warrior or Faceless Knight. I actually did that for an art class in college, the only art class I ever took in college. And we had to come up with something. It had to be like a traditional piece, something you see a lot of, but it had to be a new take on it. And it was the idea that people are waiting for someone to save them. They don't know who, they don't know why, but they're waiting for that knight in shining armor, no matter who they are. And so that's what that was.
Hold on, I gotta put a little heart next to that. There we go, okay.
Hearts?
Yeah, the little love symbol.
I'm going to look it up now, because I haven't seen it. Because you're talking about my art, and I'm like, I don't even know what this image looks like.
So, okay, there we go. It's, looking to see if there's anything else. Yeah, by the way, if anybody is in the Williamsburg area, check out Retro Daddy-O. Jen is there. She's awesome. And, Andrea, did you see Bob's new book idea?
I thought he said he wrote the book. He just wrote the book.
He did. Probably in one sentence right there in the chat. It's a short story. What
Here we are.
What shirt size do you wear, Mo?
I wear somewhere between a large and an extra large.
Okay.
Depending on how it runs.
The reason I'm asking is because, of course, you know I wear that style shirt that you have on, and sometimes I realize I'm just not wearing a certain shirt very often, or whatever, and I'm like, oh, who can I pass this on to? And usually it's Aiden, but I don't want to force my style on him.
Yeah,
I love
have
this
some
shirt.
of them. I have that one in the bag in the car.
There we go. Well, maybe
it's like yellows and greens or something, but
the
not
colors
bright.
do horribly for me.
It doesn't work well for him.
Would the colors work any better for me?
I don't know.
You have blonde hair. You have blonde hair, so maybe
not naturally. Eventually, it's going to go back to that color that Travis has.
Well, you can see it, and you can always say no.
Okay.
And then it'll go straight to the thrift store, which is why it's in my van.
It just worries me, like, because I don't know if it's true or not, but, like, I have this perception that Travis and I have a very similar color scheme, tone going on.
We probably do.
So if it doesn't look good on you, I'm like,
well, it doesn't look horribly on me. It just bleaches
it's not
me out
horrible.
a bit. So,
you know,
makes him whiter than he is. But you can actually tan, right, Mo?
More.
I can tan.
See, he
it's
can't.
Weird.
He can't.
I turn orange in the summer.
Well, Travis will burst into flames. He's so white,
My
that's why it
tanning
doesn't work for him.
routine is go out and get a base burn and let it bronze over time.
No, that's what I do.
And then I'm like, look, I'm so tan, and people will like, when I'm really tan, people will then like raise their pant leg and put it next to my leg and go, you're still really pale, dude. I'm like, well, you should have seen me before.
During the winter months, my skin looks more like my mother's because she has an olivey, a green undertone to her skin. Not in a bad way, just that's the skin tone she has.
I have that.
And so I always look oranger than she does. But if you put my arm between my mom's and my dad's, my tone matches my mother's more during the winter. And then during the summer, when both my dad and I are outside a lot, my mom can't tan worth anything. She gets freckles, sunspots, instead of actually tanning. I get freckles during the summer, but I also tan like you wouldn't believe.
I like freckles.
And so it's like my dad and I end up with the same. My dad has freckles all the time, so it's like I would have gotten them somehow, but.
Bob says green undertone, possible Sleestak DNA, which is a Land of the Lost reference.
Vulcan.
They don't have green skin. They've got they've got blue blood, don't they?
They have green blood.
Green blood? I couldn't remember. I did start watching Star Trek.
They have an olive tone.
I did start watching Star Trek Enterprise last night. I put it on specifically to fall asleep to.
Oh, is that what I woke up to?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
oh my god.
Yeah, it was 10 minutes in. I was curious about the intro and how it starts out, and then once I realized, what the deciding moment was at launch as the adventure.
Yeah.
Enterprise is not. I don't think I've watched Enterprise all the way through.
I've
not watched most of the other ones.
I haven't watched all of Voyager yet. I've only gotten through season 1 maybe. But I have them all. And then Enterprise I don't have, but it's on Netflix. So I'd like to watch them eventually, but they're not high on a priority list because they're going to be one of those shows that's great to put on when I'm doing something else that I can just look up, pay attention.
Sleeping.
Yeah. I want to watch, actually, Midnight Texas. It's one of Mickey's favorites right now. And she thinks I'd really like it, and so she... I don't want to say force me, but it was one of those things where it was like, what else am I going to do when their internet's out when she has the remote? So she put it on from the beginning, and I watched the first few episodes, and I'm like, it's definitely drama, but I think I'm finally old enough that I can suck it up and watch a drama. But it's about a town where it draws the supernatural beings. So it's like a supernatural wannabe almost. But it's like the veil is thin there, so it draws all of these supernatural beings to live there. And they all know who each other is mostly. There's 2 or 3 people that they're like, we know they're one of us, but we don't know what. And there's this huge allegory to LGBT, just like the huge allegory that Deadpool 2 was able to make to update that a little bit.
Hold on, wait.
Whether you thought it should have or not.
What?
I sat back and relaxed and enjoyed the movie. What are you talking about? In
Deadpool 2?
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah.
We missed
conversion. I mean, because at one point, because it's just about anybody being sort of the outsider, because you still have the mutant thing going
so you're
on.
Talking about the mutant comparison to whether it's race issues or LGBT.
But it's one of the things that Deadpool mentioned, and I'm not saying that we're at a point where we can totally not have the race issue anymore. Just the idea that he was like, well, by this, even in the movie, he was like, by this point, this 60s racial allegory is outdated, is what he said. And so you have the idea where you have this this almost religious person, and you have this conversion therapy with the electroshock, and you're going through, and it has a lot of just, you'll find your family, things get better. And so I, as someone in the LGBT community, saw that in it. You can see anything you want in it.
Right.
That's what I saw, especially since it had all of those LGBT characters just living their best life.
Besides,
I saw one.
Well, no, 2. Cause
Colossus is gay.
Is he?
What?
He is. He's gay in the Ultimatum run of the comics. So
I
they're
didn't know
using
that
that Colossus.
I'm stuck in the 80s where he married Kitty Pryde.
Wow.
So,
in the newest runs, he's been gay.
Gotcha. Okay.
I've never seen him doing another guy, so I wasn't sure.
So you have that at least possibility. I swear that's why they picked that character, so they could decide whether to go there or not. You have Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Right.
That, yeah.
And her
with
girlfriend.
the girlfriend.
Right.
You
And
have
see, that was,
who was
there.
adorable.
It wasn't.
And she was. I love Yukio.
Yeah, I like that it was there, but they didn't dwell on it. It was just part of the story. It wasn't the story. That was good.
That's what I loved about it.
Right.
That's what I loved about all of it, because of course also Deadpool is Pan, and you get more of that in this one. And so it's just
I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah, he'll do anything. He likes anything. It's
exactly.
Like, hey, come on. Okay, I get that. All right.
So it's one of those things where with all of those characters hanging out, and then just with sort of the decisions made on the cinematography and on that, using the electroshock, using the conversion therapy, using that religious toned sort of
let me ask you this
display.
Recently,
yes.
I've seen posts where apparently the LGBT community, there's been an outcry because there are no openly trans characters in any of the superhero movies. Do you think it needs to be?
I headcanon half of them as trans, so I make my own representation if I don't get any.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be awesome if we had one that was explicitly trans, meaning out, but it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be out to all the other characters or anything, just the idea that we know.
See,
because I feel like it would be a good representation, because as much as I love the idea that if someone has transitioned enough, you can't tell.
Right.
And they can live whoever they want to be, but that doesn't stop them from being trans. And that's a major part of sort of their developmental era of their life.
See, but
whenever that happens.
I'm the guy that get annoyed when they overrun a good action adventure, comedy, whatever, with a love story. And even, a straight love story. I'm just like, this isn't necessary to this movie. Why the hell is it even in here? Which I said Deadpool does it well. He's got his relationship, and it's a motivator as opposed to, hold on while we stop the whole story to show some love. Okay, back to the real story, where it's almost like, this doesn't move the story. And that's how I feel about whether it's... This is why Negasonic was cool. Oh, it's there. But it doesn't stop the story and go, look.
It wasn't the focus.
Look.
That's exactly what I want for a trans character too, though.
Yeah,
I want it to be something that I want it to be mentioned on screen. I want it to be something that someone can't just say, "Oh, well, I don't believe they are." Yeah, I want it to be something that people have to face. Like they can't just decide it's not there because it's actually there in the movie in canon. But I don't want it to be this big deal. I don't.
Well,
there's this huge headcanon about Peter Parker in the new one.
Okay.
The new Peter Parker in Spider-Man Homecoming. And I say headcanon because there's very little like explicit evidence, but this one person wrote this amazing sort of essay pulling stuff from the thing so that you can make to sponsor that headcanon to as evidence. The idea of the penis Parker jokes being horrible. The idea he's like, this isn't a girl's voice. This is a man's voice. And the idea that they chose an actor who's actually shorter than every other male in the entire... You look at every other male on screen, and they're all taller than Tom Holland. And that can go to him being... Spider-Man was the nerd and the outcast and whatever, but he's shorter than everybody else. You've got this idea that he is almost hyper-focused on the sciences and the idea of genetic engineering and DNA and all of this. And I'm not doing it justice, but it was a really good essay.
We get the gist.
If you want to believe it, you can believe it. And I don't mean to change anybody or sway anybody.
No. It's still an interesting concept. And Bob, Big Bob, says, I identify to LGBT, liberty, guns, bacon, and tits.
Liberty, guns, bacon, and tits. I'm only for like 1.5 of those, but you do you, bud.
I'm curious what the half is.
Go ahead and figure it out.
No, I don't think I can.
What do you have against bacon?
Yeah, bacon hater.
No, see, I understand where you're coming from, Mo, where it'd be good to have a trans character where it's not, it's known, but not the thing, so people can identify that anybody can be a superhero.
Now,
yeah.
Mo, have you seen the latest art for My Puppy is a Werewolf? The picture of the kid next to the werewolf puppy?
I did!
I have decided to change the name to a gender-neutral name and never use a specific pronoun in the book. And not to create a trans character. More so this character is identifiable to a broader audience. It could be a boy or a girl, either way, because kids are kids and kids.
And I still love the parents in that book, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. It's
you can't tell about them either.
Yeah, and I want that to be so subtle, so it's not, again, it's just part of that's how it is. You know, so, but yeah, I figure with the
kid, background.
Yeah, then again, I also had this huge issue when I was writing it. I found so many dirty jokes that I could hide in it, and I'm like torn between putting him in or not. Well, for example, he has 2 giant bats hanging as curtains, and I can call them meat curtains.
And I'm like, no.
Oh.
You know what meat
Make another one for adults.
It's
as an adult comic
and
book.
there's a gorilla in the closet, and it comes out, and I'm like, should I put these jokes in or not?
It's up to you.
I'm so torn. I mean, no kid would ever get it, but this would either A, have people in an uproar.
You could always do that, like just do it without the jokes, kind of, and then like ask the artist if you can have like just the line versions of the same things and do an adult coloring book to go with it.
That was Andrea's.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that was Andrea's.
Color the meat curtains.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so yeah, it's
Bob
an idea.
would buy that.
Yeah, but you know, the gorilla who's hiding in the closet comes out, and it's fabulous, you know, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, and there's a time in the book where they climb a tower of blocks, and I can work it in there that they climbed the wood, you know, or something like that. I'm like, there are jokes in this that I could put in that adults would enjoy reading it as much as kids, or be terribly offended.
I was speaking again with Jen yesterday, and she was like, I need to get on that that Kickstarter for his, because Bunny is a Zombie is doing so well at her store. She's so happy.
I need to get
she loves it. So
here's too much information for the public, I think. But now the agreement I have with the artist, he chose he wanted royalties. So it's a 60-40 split, so I can cover taxes and everything. And it's written in the contract that I'm not just sending him money every month, because it could be pennies. And I went, it's been just over a year and a couple months since it was published, and I went and pulled the sales history, because in the contract, I won't mail him money till there's $20 to mail him. I still haven't hit a point where I can mail him money. We haven't had enough profit out of that book to, because the copies Jen sells are copies that I get and then get to her. So, and when I buy them, of course, there's no profit shown. I'm buying them at cost. So, but yeah, there we go. The character will no longer be named Zane, and I think I'm going to use the name Lee, because I've been looking over gender neutral names.
I know another character with that name.
Who? Oh yeah. But also Lee of White Party Radio, who we were supposed to have on yesterday, that's how his name is spelled. You know, so I'm like, no, So I'm going to Google, gender-neutral names and see what's popular now, what people are naming their kids, because I wanted to say
Apple.
relatable.
Bob.
Bobbing for apples?
Davy.
No. Let's say
Who?
Bob.
What?
Just Bob.
Davy.
Chartreuse. What?
No.
Davy Crockett? Crockett and Tubbs?
My name's gender neutral, but don't use it.
No,
it's an old name.
Well, like I said, I want a name that's very popular now. It's something when I write like the young adult stuff that I haven't published, I go research common names now because it makes it more relatable. Somebody knows somebody by that name. And it creates...
Tan.
The character is Tan.
No, the name Tan.
It just doesn't...
People named Tan.
Says Asian,
Weird.
doesn't it?
Not necessarily, but I guess.
You could do...
Oh, see, I Googled it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I could see some of these, like Angel.
No.
No, I'm
Go on.
No,
Gotcha.
I'm reading this and I'm thinking, okay.
Angel is a
yeah,
name
okay,
for
that.
usually someone of Hispanic descent that's a boy.
Exactly.
Right.
Riley, Jordan, Avery. I'm looking at all of these and I didn't realize, hey, I know so many people with these names.
I like the name Jordan.
Jordan sounds good.
What was the one after Jordan?
Avery.
Makes me think of Deep Space Nine because the main actor who played Ben Sisko, his name is Avery.
Well, there's Kendall.
Kendall is a gender neutral? I know someone named Kendall.
Me too, a male and a female.
Oh. I only know a female.
Well, I mean, when I went to school and stuff, not so much now, but Ariel.
That's Mickey's sister's name.
Oh.
She's named after their father, but his name's not Kendall. It's actually Kinney.
That's right. We used to call him unisex, didn't we?
Yeah.
See, Ariel, I don't know. I can't see that as a guy.
Ariel, yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
I do like
And
the
then-
name Morgan.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I also like Peyton.
Yeah.
And above that is Parker, but I just think Spider-Man the whole time. So
Yeah. That's crazy.
Parker's Spider-Man's last name.
I know.
You're just gonna think it's Spider-Man?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because I don't know any Parker.
Some of these are like places like
Yeah.
Dallas and Egypt.
And
Who names their kid Egypt?
say
There are
Zypher. Zypher.
Zafir.
Zypher. Whatever.
Justice.
I've heard it both ways.
London.
Have I ever told you what I want to name my child if I ever have one?
What?
If I get to name one? 7.
Why?
I think it's such a good name. Like, it follows all of the rules of most, like, common names. Like, Morven followed the same one, so I went with it, where it's 2 syllables, it ends with an N, it has a soft center sound. Like, it fits in with a lot of names, so it doesn't sound so out of place. But I have always just 7.
Okay.
I think that was a character in one of the shows I used to watch.
It was.
Was it Roseanne? No.
I don't know. It is familiar, though. Can I read some of these other names?
Sure.
And these are gender-neutral names that, for me, make me go, really? Arrow. Navy. Briar. Ocean. There's Egypt. Rebel.
Why do you want to name your kid that?
Sailor. Hello, Sailor.
Sailor Moon.
Gentry. Halo. Indigo.
That's a game.
Indigo's a nice name, though. I'm probably coming at it with a totally different idea of names, though, because, like, all of these kids are kids that I've, like, taught in recent years. Like, I've had kids with those names.
Yeah, I feel like Indigo is a good name for a superhero. Whether it's a secret...
Indiegogo.
We do have Indiegogo, yes. It's,
Kennedy says Parker Stevenson.
Parker Lewis
Mantle.
can't lose. Mantle.
And then Seinfeld had an episode about 7. Okay.
Let me do characters named 7. Google search. 10 classic TV characters with numbers for names.
I know in Blossom there was 6. I think it was Blossom.
No, these 7 of 9. That's where we're Star Trek.
No, not that one. There was another one. Where the kids are like, oh, no. I think it was National Lampoon.
Well, my other one would be like 11. And then you could call the kid L.
Right.
And then everybody's like, is it short for Elizabeth? Is it short for Ellie? Is it short for Elijah? What is it short for? 11.
Stranger Things, Kennedy points out.
Right.
I would do that.
And George wanted to name his kid 7 because of Mickey Mantle. That's Seinfeld.
Ah, gotcha.
And Bob reminds me he has dementia.
Totally different reasons.
You probably have better reasons.
No, just different ones.
It's yeah, I'm not. Let me try famous people named 7. And then I'll try people I know named 7, because Google probably has that shit too.
Yeah, you never know with the Google. It knows everything.
Google knows
Somebody named their son Audio Science.
Probably. Well, look at the Zappas. Dweezil. Come on. And then there's River, which he died a long time ago. River Phoenix.
I could name a kid Lucky.
Moon Unit. Zappa. I mean, crazy.
So many dad jokes. You're unlucky, but I'm lucky.
There you go. There are 1,584 people in America named 7.
Look at that. See, it is a name.
Yeah.
I've never looked it up. So.
And apparently it's a girl's name, from what Baby Named Science is saying.
It's unisex. I've decided. If it were if I wanted to make it feminine, I would call her 70.
And it first appeared in 2002.
Wow! After I was born. What happened in 2002? Go ahead. Something aired.
That's when it was first reported. I don't know. Could be. Our experts. Let's see here. The baby girl named 7 was given to 26 baby girls in 2012. There we go. So yeah, it's there we go. It exists. It's there. It's out there.
Bam. Or I want to name a kid Junior.
Your kid or
Their
somebody else?
nickname would be Eeyore. Don't care.
Just randomly start calling
I dub thee Junior.
Tell your parents.
Because it's Junior. Junior. So I can call him Eeyore.
Or June.
I-O-R. Eeyore. Instead of Igor, it's Eeyore.
Igor. It's pronounced Igor.
Okay.
Have you seen Young Frankenstein?
Frankenstein.
No. Oh, that is funny. It's a spoof. It's
It's a Mel Brooks movie.
Mel Brooks. And he's like, it's not Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein. And then Igor's
is the
like,
I first or the E first? Frankenstein.
Well, it's spelled like Frankenstein. It's called Young Frankenstein, but the character, he doesn't want to claim his family, so he's like, it's pronounced Frankenstein. And Igor's like, well, it's pronounced Igor.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a really cute movie. It's one of the Halloween classics. It's not a Halloween movie per se, but yeah, it's Victor Frankenstein's grandson inherits. And yeah, it's a spoof. It's Mel Brooks.
Okay.
Marty Feldman, Gene Wilder, some of the 1970s comedy greats.
Just Google Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
That's all, and you'll find it.
Gene Hackman is in it as a blind guy. And Madeline Kahn is in it, as well as... Who's the blonde? I can't think of the blonde's name. Frau Blucher? That's right.
Oh.
That's not an actress. That's the name
That's
of the
the character.
Let's see.
It's like one of the original spoofs.
There we go. I'm just gonna.
Kennedy says Terry.
Yes, Terry Terry Garr.
Gar.
Peter Boyle plays the monster, who is the dad, or the grandfather, the dad on Everybody Loves Raymond. Cloris Leachman is Frau Blucher, Terry Garr. So yeah, you've got a lot. It's a fun, stupid movie. Go enjoy it.
Oh wow. Yeah. I'm like the father on Everybody Loves Raymond, but like my brain isn't conjuring up a face, so instead it's bringing up the father from that 70s show.
Red.
It's not right, brain. Okay.
I can't think of his name, but I liked him on that 70s show. Dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
probably your Patronus.
See, and this movie came out in 1976 or something like that. So it's 74. I'm sorry. But
it's still a few years younger than my dad.
Oh, and it's all done in black and white.
Okay.
So it's a good flick. Oh, you know what? Let me read off.
It's before people were in color.
Ah.
We hadn't evolved to color yet. Now, tomorrow, we have Richard Knowles appearing on the show with possibly a guest appearance by his wife, Angela. Mm-hmm. Monday night on Philosopher's Pub, we're discussing Star Wars fandom. All 9 movies, books, games, action figures, everything. Tuesday.
All 9 movies? What about all the extra movies?
Well, that's why I say all the extra stuff, too. You know, it's... Zola Mark of Pink Cocoon will be with us on Tunesday. Next Wednesday, we have Brad Williams, famous comedian, coming on. And Thursday... Hell, we got nothing for Thursday.
Enjoy your next Thursday.
Thursday, it's...
Somebody will pop up. They usually do.
Well, I have 3 or 4 different people on Facebook that I've been discussing things with, so I could quite possibly get that slot filled. That down dirty. Anyway.
If not, we will be talking about worldwide news.
We'll find something to talk about. We'll just
really quickly, because I still haven't actually previewed it on any of the shows.
Oh,
patch check.
Ta-da!
There we go.
Oh.
Talk to the Tavern patch check.
I am so happy.
And I think both Kennedy and Bob have patches too. I suspect they do.
I've been keeping it in the envelope because the envelope has the wax seal that I love because it's tactile and stuff.
That's how I do all my letters. Is that the Ministry of Magic one?
It is. I love it.
Oh. Well, let's see. We've got 8 minutes to go. Now, let me find somebody to raid.
Are you going to be streaming today, Mo?
I probably should. I usually go from 3 to 6, so I'm probably going to just sort of clear my space and start doing that very soon. Of course, I don't have it that I do it on Wednesdays, but I'm going to do it today because I won't be doing it all weekend because I'm going to be at Anime Next.
Nice. Woo. What are you going to be doing there?
I'm going to be working with a Steampunked Life at their table, actually. I'm heading out as extra help to set up and everything.
Cool.
But it also means I get breaks and I get to go enjoy the convention and take pictures of people in beautiful cosplay and probably shoot a few Talk of the Tavern videos.
There you go.
With people in beautiful cosplay.
I know!
Now, do you have the Twitch app on your phone?
I do not. Should I?
I believe you can stream from your phone. Travis did during the storm.
You can live stream straight from your phone, so you can broadcast on your channel and do little short mini interviews or whatever, if you want.
Okay.
Or you can record the videos and then put them up on Twitch later as a premiere.
Oh, that makes sense.
So there's options.
I just worry because, like, if I'm going to do a short stream, it brings down my average if no one can show up for that short stream, you know?
You're right. You're right. It absolutely does. Which, that was something I was concerned about in the beginning also. And at this point in time, now to get to an affiliate, you have to have how many?
3. Average 3 viewers.
So yeah, you might want to worry about it till you're an affiliate. As an affiliate now, I've only hit over 75 a couple times. So with that in mind, I'm not worried about the short streams because I'm not hitting. If I was hitting that average every Monday night, then maybe I'd worry about it. If I was hitting that average during the week and Monday night, then absolutely I would worry about it. But at this point in time, I don't have that large of an audience almost ever. So, but yeah, no, I understand that concern. And in that case, just record a short video and load it as a premiere. Matter of fact, when you get home, use your thing and take all your 3 to 5 minute interviews, turn them into a whole half hour, however much you got, load that as a premiere, and then make sure you're there when it premieres so you can chat in the chat box to folks that come in.
See?
I can do that. As long as I remember and as long as I'm not, like, dead tired, because I'm going to try to be cosplaying myself. I do low maintenance cosplay, but
we do too.
I still enjoy. Yes, but even yours is more than mine most of the time.
I just dress in my normal clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes y'all get awesome. I like Deadpool. And I like Joker.
I didn't do Deadpool.
Yeah, y'all do. I thought you did. It was you did the red kilt for a Deadpool one day.
Oh, that was me wearing my red kilt, and somebody went, "Oh, you're like," and they said it, and I went, "Okay."
Okay.
No, that's just what he wears.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell somebody they're wrong.
He was the Pringle guy. He just put on a hat and carried a thing of Pringles.
I did Monopoly Man. The only thing I did that I wouldn't normally wear with that one is I had the bag full of money and get out of jail free cards.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm hoping to do a low maintenance Cheshire Cat, a low maintenance Yurio from Yuri on Ice, and I'm gonna do the TARDIS onesie one day because that's super low maintenance. It's even just one thing I put on.
Right.
Well, I put a shirt on underneath, but
right. Well, you put shirt and shorts on underneath. That way, if it gets too hot, because it's a fucking onesie.
Just bad.
Yeah. And Kennedy, I tell you what, the red kilt gets so many comments and so much attention, positive attention and comments. Yeah. It's
because nobody wears that bright of a color.
Yeah.
They're usually very neutral.
There's one of the kilt places that I follow, and of course I'm blanking on the name, on Facebook that now has a pride kilt. And what is this? Yeah, I love it. They now have it in 2 sizes too. They have it in the smaller size as well, which they say it's marked women's on their website because their website's binary, but they're like, honestly, we don't care. Just pick one that'll fit you.
See, the website I ordered
thing is,
from...
women's sizes are made differently than men's sizes. And
theirs are all made the same, though, on that one. Okay. It's just that the smaller... They give it to you in the men's where it's the actual inches. It's just called women's because it's the smaller one. And I was
gotcha.
I can deal with that. Y'all are being nice about it. You just have 2 sizes.
See, this place, and they start at $50 for their kilts. And they're utility...
Which is a good price.
Utility kilts. And, yeah, you send them your measurements, and they make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, they now have 2-tone kilts that I'm looking at now, so it's like a black kilt, but it'll have the belt loops will be blue or yellow or gray or green, and then the one pocket is that color also, and some of the buckles. I really like that, though, especially that blue one. See, I want a whole blue one. I will go goo-goo if I could find one in a nice electric blue. Oh, we got to do our outro.
It's 3:59. We need a toast.
Here's to Mo. Here's to exploring ourselves and sharing that with others.
Of course.
Let's do some outro music. You guys have a great day. We'll catch you
Thanks
tomorrow.
for joining the discussion shenanigans tonight. You are the one thing that makes the show what it is. Don't forget to join us at the tavern next week. Until then, have fun.
Are we rating?
And be good to one another. Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day and steamy dreams every night.